Hi, welcome back to another episode of Tuesday Night Live on the 10 Horse Money Fishing YouTube channel. And I was telling the fellas backstage that I barely made it home.
Squeak through there.
Squeak through, man. It's one of them deals where I was working on a video and I got all the fish catches that I needed and kind of did the commentary and stuff. And I had this sneaky suspicion that they were biting on another bait. Well, I made the mistake of picking up that other bait, started getting some bites. And instead of leaving at 4, I left at 5:40. And then on the way home, there was a wreck on the interstate. So I had to take like a 20-minute delay. Got home just in time to take a shower and shoot the link over to these fellas. And we are live. But
well, hold on. What time did you get to the lake, though?
Oh, yeah. I didn't
That's
get
the main question.
I had intentions of being out of the house at 7 o'clock. Well, so I get out in the garage to hook up my boat at like 15 after 8. And then I had crap everywhere over the top of my boat because I can't remember where I was at. It was either Warrior William and that AFCO Derby. I still had stuff on my John boat. And it took another 10, 15 minutes to clean all that up. So I left the house at 9 and got on the lake about 10.
Okay.
That's typically how it works, man. It's so hard for me to get out of there in the morning. And plus it was raining, so I was kind of like, I was motivated because I knew the bite would probably be decent, but I was also not motivated to like get out in the rain. It's one of those deals where it's like once you get out there, you're fine.
I was out of town all day.
You were?
Yeah, I was down south all day. How much rain did we get?
It was just like a light shower type of deal.
Like a soaker all day?
Yeah, just kind of a light shower, and then it would kind of become misty for a while, and no wind. I mean, there was like zero wind at all. But once you get out there, you're in it, and it was fine. And man, the lakes are looking good. The grass is matted, juicy. They're low. It's like that. In fact, it's kind of interesting. I don't know if it's like this with you, Michael, and then some of the lakes you fish, but when it gets low, sometimes it's kind of hard to realize exactly, where your boat needs to be when you're fishing certain stuff, or you don't recognize the little small cuts look a little bit different, and things just, you see like a little piece of wood that you normally wouldn't see that's just a little bit up out of the water. So when it's kind of hazy and overcast and rainy, it throws you off even more. And
yeah, it feels like a different lake when it's down from what you're used to, or like when they suck it down, or when it comes up in the spring, it's like, holy cow, this isn't what I was used to. But no, I mean, it's the same way here. It's lower than it normally is this time of year, and it looks weird out there to me. I'm not used to it yet, so I'm not ready for it to be low. There's a time for me where I'm like, all right, suck that lake down. But I'm still wanting some targets in the water right now,
Yeah.
It's low enough that it's hard to find stuff in the water, at some points.
Well, around here, with that grass, it's kind of like the last couple of years we haven't had really good mats. And right now is the best that I've seen the lakes in several years. And it's kind of a combination of the water temperature has been up in the 70s up until just like 3 days ago. We got that cold rain in it, and it was actually 62 today, so it's fallen almost 10 degrees. But so that warm water temperature has allowed, we had really good sunshine. It's allowed that grass to really keep growing, and it's topped out. But at the same time, we haven't had much rain, so the water level is falling. So all that stuff that's kind of growing up as the water falls, it like tops out and lays down, and you get those really good mats. And sometimes that'll happen, and then we'll get like 2 inches of rain, and it'll fill the lake a little bit back up, and that grass will straighten back out, and you kind of lose your mats, and then it starts dying off because the water temperature drops. But right now, today, it's like it's like a perfect storm for really good grass fishing. So I can't wait for us to get a couple good sunshiny days. And I think the frog bite and the punching bite could be just phenomenal. The bait's starting to move up in the grass, which is good,
I am jealous, man. That sounds nice.
It's fun.
I don't have anything like that around here. It's like you're speaking a foreign language to me.
It can be really, really fun, but it can be also just like, and this is going to sound terrible, but it can be miserably frustrating.
Yeah.
Like,
That's like a needle in a haystack, isn't it? I mean,
it is.
But I guess like the lake being sucked down probably helps that a lot.
Yeah,
every bank is covered with grass.
Yeah.
There's not a single stretch that doesn't have a mat on it that doesn't look phenomenal.
Yeah, so then the more they suck it down, that's just gonna bring those fish back to you. I would imagine.
Well, so it doesn't really get that lake in particular. They don't draw it down. It's the main water source for a college over in Southern Illinois.
So it just fluctuates.
It just usage this time of the year of water.
Okay.
Kind of helps pull it down, and then of course, obviously
because you're talking about like incrementally coming down, right?
Yeah, it's not a drawdown lake where it's going to come down 7 or 8 foot. It just slowly comes down, and then when it gets to a certain level with no rain, the city using some of the water, it gets that just perfect level, and the mats top out just the right amount. And
that's obviously
growing up on the lake, really knowing the lake like we do, it's just like you down at Lake of the Ozarks. Like it is crazy. You can fish miles and miles and miles, and you'll go in one stretch, and it'll be a 50-yard stretch, and you'll catch 25 pounds out of a 50-yard stretch.
Yeah. But that's something, I mean, like on guide trips and stuff, the first thing I tell people if it's like informative per se, or like a live scope trip or something like that, is they're like, holy cow, I like never realized how much more water you're covering or how fast you're going. It's like, that's why you have to fish like that. It's because on a place like this that's so vast and there's so many fish, I just got to keep going. I'm not going to sit there and fish stuff that isn't very good, or I'm not seeing them the way I like to fish, the way I like to fish for them. I'm just going to kick it on high and go.
Something, right?
Yes.
You're looking for the fish to set up the right way. No different than right now, it's for me, it's 100% deer mode for me. And like, you're looking for that one clue. And once you find that clue, then you can expand on it. Just like with live scope, just like with grass, just like with pattern fishing on a lake. Like you find the needle, and it gives you just a little bit of a clue, and then you can start building off of that.
Right.
With the grass, it just can be no different than fishing in 60 foot of water on Table Rock or something like that. Like to me, that's a daunting task, but we go down and fish bull shoals with our buddy Del Coven, and it's like, just put you on him immediately. Now, granted, he's a guide on the lake, but it's like, I wouldn't know where to start in 110 foot of water.
Right.
You mean a bass lives on the bottom of the lake at 110 foot? And he's like, yeah.
It's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, I had to really cover a lot of water today. I was really working on the top water bite. Not the way we usually catch them, JB. I was trying to get away from that, just to make something
going on.
It's probably close. I had a couple roll on it, but I only made about 5 casts, maybe 6 casts with it. Yeah. So my guess is probably, but I was trying to find a good buzzbait bite, and I'd get in like, you cover like a bunch of water and not get anything. And then you get in an area and you catch one, and then you move down the bank about another 10 yards, you catch another one, and you catch 3 within like 25 yards. And then you kind of start slowing down, and then nothing. So it's one of those deals where, like right now, the fish are kind of spread out to where you get 1, 2, 3 bites in a small area, and then a lot of dead water, and you got to just keep on moving. And of course, I'm fishing out off the grass, and kind of any areas I can throw back in it where there's little cuts or holes or stuff. I'm fishing that kind of stuff. I did punch a little bit and threw a frog a little bit, but I was really just trying to stay disciplined to see if I could cover enough water to generate a few bites with that buzzbait. I do that a lot, man. A lot of times I go over there and I get, when you fish the same lake a lot, you have an idea of how you could probably catch them, but I always try to come up with a different bait that I could. It may not be like the best pattern. A lot of times it's not, but if I can just get a bite or two, then I'll keep running with it and just checking different stuff. But every once in a while, I'll pick up what I think they should be biting on, and just to see if what I'm thinking is what's really going on. And a lot of times I do get some feedback, and then I just keep on moving with that It's not a good tournament strategy by any means.
Sanity check is
it's like the exact opposite of what you should do in a tournament. But I'm trying to get a certain video, but it's fun, man.
You just have sanity checks every once in a while, Gabe. Like you got to make sure that I still remember how to throw that up there and catch that.
Well, you got all these rods on your deck, and you got all these baits. You might as well get them wet every once in a while. You know,
that's right.
Can't neglect them every day.
But Michael, I mean, to your point, the grass fishing, I miss it when I go places that don't have grass.
No, because, I can imagine, man.
Because grass makes sense to me. What we learned fishing like BFLs and going to some of these regionals, like take the Kentucky Lake guys and take them down to Chick. They're like, how do you break this down? I'm like, this is easy. Like it's grass fishing. How can you not figure this out? And
right. Yeah. I don't, that's something that I fight because I just don't have very much experience doing it.
Well, depending on the time of the year, like fall, like it's just being super, super disciplined. If you want to catch 5 of the biggest one in the lake, like you got 2 rods in your hands all day long, and it's a frog and it's a punching rod. And you make sure that you don't put either one of those down for.
Although, JB, check this out. This is a question I was going to ask you guys. We'll just start out with this.
Okay.
If you had Jason's in the queue, we'll bring him in just a second. If you had one moving bait, one bottom bait, and then one top water bait to fish,
all year or in the fall?
Warm water. So 50 degrees and up and across the country, what would those baits be? And I can go.
No mid-range bait. So you got, what did you say, bottom?
You got a winding bait, a dragging bait, and a top water bait.
All year.
Like 50.
The warm months, yeah.
So late winter, early spring, all the way to, like late November or something when that water gets into the 50s. I was thinking about that on the way home. And for me, the winding bait, hands down, would be a 1/2 ounce green pumpkin chatterbait with a 4-inch Yamamoto Seiko, like the blue crawl color. I'd have it on like 16-pound Sunline with that Virtus Blue Diamond bladed jig rod and like a 7-to-1 luge reel. Like I've caught so many fish the last couple of years on that combination right there that I think that I feel like I could go just about anywhere and keep it in my hand, at least get a bite or 2 on most days. So
man, I'm struggling with that question. I'm really racking my brain on trying to figure out what I would do, and I'm kind of struggling with it.
It's a tough one. So top water, I'll go top water. I already thought about this. I've been thinking about. So like I said, I was in like dead stop on Interstate 55 for like 20 minutes, just sitting there. So I was thinking about this for 20 minutes. On the top water bite, it would be. Now you got to remember we fish a lot of grass, but this actually also works on like Lake of the Ozarks and some of these other lakes. But would be like a Stanley top toad or that Spro Flapping Frog 65, which is a hollow belly, hollow bodied buzz toad, just on a frog rod with like 50-60 pound braid. That's something, you could skip that. You can throw it out and reel it in just like a buzzbait or a whopper plopper, but it also goes through the grass really well. So it's kind of, it works in all scenarios. And then on the bottom, if I had a walking type chugging bait, it would be a chug bug too. Just throwing that one out there as an honorary second place. But
I didn't know we had honorable mentions. I mean, if
we have honorable mentions, it's so hard to condense it. But on the bottom, shaky head on the bottom, like just a 1/4 ounce shaky head with a 6-inch worm or something. 12
So
pounds.
You throw that on a spinning rod?
No, actually, I started throwing it on like a 7-foot bait caster, with
12-pound line on it or something.
12-pound line. I used to throw it on a spinning rod, but the last couple of years I've been throwing it on.
I like both. It just depends on what I'm doing.
Yeah,
I like both. Just depends. But I think if I was gonna answer your question though, I would have to I might have to throw a curveball at you, and I might replace my top water with a glide.
Really?
Yeah, because it kind of is a top water to me, But I also can sink it down a little bit, or so like it's a little more versatile. I don't feel like I throw top water like exclusively that much. Like, I can think back to some super key catches throughout this year, like, forever, that I've had on topwater. Obviously, bass fishing, like, that's how we cut our teeth. But I don't know. I don't feel like that's one of my staples right now. Now through the fall, it is. Now, if we're talking like August to December, I would want to have a topwater and a glide bait.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick, and I have a hard for where I fish on this lake, that I have a hard time going topwater, moving bait, bottom bait. I feel like I'll use a lot of bottom baits here, and then if I was going to use a winding bait, I would probably have to say a jerk bait, which really it's not a winding bait, but that would probably have to be my hard bait, so to speak, or my reaction bait, and then and obviously the bottom bait's got to be a jig. There's just so many different varieties of a jig and ways you can fish it. You can put a 1 ounce jig on. You can put a a tiny little 1/4 ounce jig on, or whatever. I mean, if you're in the Ozarks region, you have to have a jig in your arsenal. So
when you say glide bait, what are we talking about? Are we talking about 8, 9, 10 incher? Or are we talking about more of a manageable 5, 6, 7 incher?
Yeah, I like the 6 for the most part. Now, there's times when I go to that great big one. I mean, that's pretty addicting to throw a bait like that, but it's not often that it's practical. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like you might pick it up when you're looking for a kicker, it's that conditions, or it's a swing for the fences type tournament. But if it's if you're in a club or you're fishing BFLs or whatever the case may be, and you're fishing for points, it's not something you're going to go out there and throw every tournament or all day long or whatever. But if you go out on the right, a lot of times we're fishing just small tournaments around the house, and if it's just one day, I'll go, I'll commit to it and go throw the thing and hope to catch a big bag. A lot of times it doesn't work, but when it does work, it's really good. It's just one of those baits when you get bit, you're going to catch mature fish.
Now, will you use that bait as a search bait? Get them to come out?
No, I think I use the cheater box for the search bait.
Okay.
I feel like I'm way more efficient at just putting my, looking at it and trying to interpret what I'm seeing and what I've, what I've seen from my experiences and how I like to catch them, and then just putting my head down and going and looking for it. Now,
and I was meaning using that in correlation with each other
to find the fish and stuff like that.
A lot of times when they suck down on into cover, you can throw that glider.
They will come up for it, yeah.
They'll come up and at least show themselves.
Honestly, man, that does work, and that's a realm that I'm just kind of breaking into, is finding those fish that you can't see per se all the time. Because I have seen some stuff in the last year or so. It's like, oh my gosh, where like a bunch of them come out of nowhere and you have no idea that they're there.
Same lake that we were talking about gets a absolute ton of pressure. And there's a couple spots that they stay on all year. But it comes to certain times of the year and they just lock straight down to the bottom and you can't see them.
Yeah.
They're there. You can't catch them, you can't do anything, but I'll wait a big glide. I'll put like a 1/4 ounce
weight in it,
drop shot weight on the front hook hanger.
Mm-hmm.
And so and you just watch it come down, and you don't have to twitch it. It's just slowly falling, and all of a sudden, like
they'll all come up around. It's like a volcano.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god! Now you may not catch any of them, but at least gives you the confidence that they're there. So,
like, oh my gosh, yeah.
You either slow down or you throw something super finessey, or throw something bigger, like that big glide bait. That just, it's like a cat and a laser. They can't stand that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it just puts you in an opportunity when the situation's right. If you are in the right area and you got a chance to win. So it's undeniable the power of something like that. That's why you got to put it in your arsenal. But absolutely. I think the first time I ever saw this fish rip off the bottom like that I never saw was at St. Clair, actually. I think in the Tackle Warehouse Invitationals last year or 2 years ago. And it's like, you catch one or something, you might have saw one little flick down there and you throw at it and you got one and you set the hook and here comes 30 of them. Or, it's like, oh my gosh, you just watch them appear out of nowhere and then you get the fish in the boat, and then they swim back down to the bottom and disappear. You're like, oh my gosh, there's a whole world down there we don't know about. You know, you just can't see them. That's that last 18 inches of the bottom is what it is, I think.
Yeah, and then there's like today, you'll see, you'll see the bottom of the leg just crawling a little bit, and it looks like sometimes you can't tell. There'll be some gizzard shad down there moving around, like the fish will push those bait down, or like when it's cloudy, a lot of times the bait have a tendency to be kind of tighter to the bottom versus sunny, they're usually suspended or up towards the top. But like a lot of times you'll see something kind of just crawling a little bit, and like, is that a crappie? Is it bluegill? Is it gizzard shad? And you'll throw something over, and all of a sudden, like it's a big blob, and it looks like a 3, 4, 5 pounder that's sitting down there, and just on the front looker, it looks like a like a little bluegill or something. And then all of a sudden, you bring your bait over, and then it grows. It's a really big fish, and you're like, dang! So it just shows you how they can hide. They can suck down the bottom, and you can't even really tell the size of the fish until they decide to come up and show themselves.
Well, I think that's where a lot of the pros separate themselves. It's not the suspended fish that they're. I think that's like the biggest misconception with the whole forward facing deal. It's like everybody's out there dominating all year long on fish that they see that suspended. And I think 90% of the time those guys they're separating themselves with those fish that are down on the bottom. And that's the way I feel. I could be completely wrong on that, but at least around here, that's definitely seems to be the case. Most of the guys that are pretty good here are structure / bottom oriented guys. You might still be using scope, but it's, we're catching fish off structure with it more so than suspended. I know that goes on a lot of places, but there's a lot of fish being caught on the bottom too.
Is it just soaking or trial and error, or what's the?
I mean, a lot of it is, like say you got a jig, for instance, I may be fishing it on the bottom, but I will be pulling it to where I can see it until I get a reaction, you're trying, or if I'm throwing at a piece of structure or something like that, and just looking for the subtle little differences of a fish sticking out on, a twig or something like that, and being able to tell when what's worth throwing at and what's not and stuff.
It's amazing how well they can hide in a brush pile.
Yeah, that's like today we were on a trip, and you get these dead man anchors out where they've run cables from the to support the docks to a concrete anchor block down on the bottom, and guy reeled the bait past it 4, 5, 6 times, never got any reaction. I said, let me see that thing, and I threw it out there and let it go to the bottom behind it, and really quick reeled it up and ripped it past that thing, and like 7 fish. I mean, then we were talking about small little bass. We didn't even catch one, but just that example of like he reeled that thing by there 4 or 5 times and never got, and you couldn't not a reaction at all. And then when I swam it by it really fast, they came flying out of there. So it's just those little differences like that you may miss out on. Speed's your friend for me.
It goes against everything that we were taught how to do to throw a jig, how to throw whether it's a jig, a chatterbait, a glide bait, a shaky head, whatever it is. We've been taught a certain way to do it because it's worked in the past. But how many have you caught? I think I damn near qualified for an All-American because of I caught every fish with 4 foot of line out.
Yeah.
Flipping a jig up underneath an undercut and then burning it back. You'd fish, and you'd burn it back, and all of a sudden you look down and there'd be one just
bite it at the tip of your rod.
Yeah, you just drop your rod and you catch them. So, and that was pre live scope. So those guys are. I adjusted to it that day, but I had no idea. I bet there was 30 or 40 fish that probably followed my bait all day.
Oh yeah,
I had no idea about. So
that's a huge deal I've been working on the last couple of years with fall rate, especially with a jig. A lot of times I've been catching a lot of fish, the suspended fish, with a jig, and you'll throw a 3/8 ounce jig by them or something.
They're like, oh, what's that? That's cool. Nice try, buddy.
Yeah, but you throw a 3/4, you get a totally different look.
Yeah,
they won't let it go by.
It seems like everything's trending heavier for sure.
I agree, man. There's something to it. Even a tube, like flipping a tube on a 1/4 ounce head versus a 1/4 ounce sinker versus a 3/8 ounce. Just everything is like fall rate, shaky head, you name it.
Are you seeing that on the minnows too, Mike?
I'm not a minnow guy. I know. I tell people all the time, like, dude, I'm sure that if you turn the Jake Lawrences and those guys of the world loose on this lake, they would figure out how to win doing that. But there's not many tournaments getting one on a minnow here. Like, I don't know if I've ever even heard of one. I've caught some big fish on it. Don't get me wrong. Like, you can catch them here and there and occasionally, but there's something weird for me. It just seems like to me about that bait in this place, like, just doesn't jive with it. And it could just be me, and I don't feel like I'm that good at it. But I go somewhere else like Kentucky Lake or something like that, I'd have no problem catching them doing that. So I don't know. I'd really like to talk to a biologist or something about that and try to understand more about why it is the way that it is. And that's just I don't know if that's true or not. That's just what it seems like to me. And you just don't ever really hear much about guys winning anything. Like, I'm not saying you can't go out and catch 17 or 20, 25 pounds on a minnow here. It's just not like a repeatable thing that's happening day in and day out. It doesn't seem like. I think it's because the way the fish relate to the bottom and the docks. Like, I just don't. I have a hard. I can get fish to come up and look at it, but I have a hard time getting those mature fish to commit to it. And I think it's partially because of how many giant gizzard shad we have in this lake and the way that the mature fish feed. Like, I just don't think they single out one big minnow like that and eat it. I don't know. It's just, I'd really like to have some more insight on it. It's just it's a weird deal.
I can't believe how many like juicy brush piles are back underneath not slips but floats. Like, they're in areas you can't get to them. I took my boat down there. It was like a month and a half ago, something like that, and I got to spend a couple days with the front looker looking underneath those docks, and it's like I can't get there from here. You can see it, and you can see the set up on it, and there's some good ones, but you can't. You go around. Okay, I can't get.
The equation is figuring out how to get your bait to it.
Yeah, exactly. There's a bunch of those where it's like the brush pile was there, and then they built the dock on top of the brush pile. That's what it kind of seems like, and you're looking at like a couple 4s or 5 or so under there, but I don't know.
You're just trying to figure out how to get to it. That's like that's my jam right there. That's how I'm like crawling around this dock, staring at him, going, "That's them right there. That's her." I just can't. I got to figure out how to get it to it without scaring it, or like actually get it to it, or how am I going to get it out of there? Like,
sounds like we need to bring back the flying lure.
No, you have to educate me on that.
Yeah, that's one of those baits that goes away from you. It was like a flat tube, and it would glide up underneath the docks and stuff.
Okay, kind of like the Watson spoon is supposed to do, slide backwards like that.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
You have to be more like Jeremy Lawyer, where he'll just bump up against the side of a dock and flip over.
Definitely.
Into the open
I'm educated on all those tricks.
Dude, man. I mean, you got to get that bite first and worry about how to get them out of there later.
It's a different world now, though. I mean, everybody's dock's got cameras on it, and like I feel like everybody's out to get you some way or another. So I feel like I tread really lightly with that anymore.
Yeah,
you used to be an old like. We didn't know encapsulated foam. It's like old actual styrofoam, algae, and boards rotting everywhere. And, just a fish cleaning station and some rod holders on a dock. And that's what you're looking for. Now it's all these huge 4-well platform docks with surveillance and just like the most 90-inch TVs. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Well, if I had the boat that sits under those docks,
you'd probably want a camera on it too.
I'd probably put a camera on it.
No, absolutely. But I think twice every time about even just going to get a bait back anymore that I've got hung up. Like, I find myself breaking them off more than I'd go get them just because I don't want to find myself in that situation.
Yeah, well, you think people would appreciate that? I mean,
you would think, but dude, some people are crazy.
Yeah, get shot and trying to, help.
Well, there's people that,
dude, I know.
A hook in their foot.
The lake is for pleasure, not for fishermen, and there's people that the lake is for fishermen, not pleasure.
Right. So, and I get it, man. You don't want somebody tramping on your dock. Like, I probably wouldn't want that either. I would definitely be more considerate than a lot of people, given what I do. But still, I could see their point of view on that too. So I just try to.
I also don't want to like come down to the dock and have my kids swimming there, and there's a 6XE stuck to the side of the rope that they're getting.
No, dude. Yeah, if you get in my cover or something, go get that thing.
Right.
Yeah, that is definitely a tricky aspect dynamic to the fishing that we have to deal with here on beautiful Lake of the Ozarks. But I am thankful for it. I think that's why we have the fishery that we do.
Yeah, I would agree.
There's a lot of areas that you just can't access.
Right. It is our grass.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what it is. It's our grass.
Yep.
So
I'm gonna bring Jason in and have him answer the 3 questions that Michael did, and then JB, I want to get your answer
on the baits. I guess okay.
Yeah. So what's up, Jason? Welcome to the program.
Hey guys.
I don't know if you heard, but we said if you had one bottom bait, one winding bait, and one top water bait, what would be your choice? It's kind of tricky. It's hard to just narrow. It's always hard to narrow, it down to just one. It's like somebody asked you, what's your favorite band? I'm like,
I had to think about this for like 10 minutes while they were talking. So check back in.
Yeah. That's one of those questions, man. It's like, where'd you grow up fishing at? Right.
Yeah.
So,
true.
I grew up on Wapapella, and, the head knocker was the deal back in the 90s on that lake for years. And it just threw it all the time. So, and then I fished Mark Twain for years. And in the spring, if you're not throwing a buzz bait, you're doing something wrong. So, being what I've fished, it would probably have to be a buzz bait on top water, moving bait, probably a spinner bait.
Mm-hmm.
I can catch them all year on a spinner bait. And then bottom bouncing is a jig, no doubt.
Yeah. Well, the jig's almost like
it's a staple.
It's a staple, and you can swim a jig too.
Yeah, absolutely.
It becomes a winding bait just as well,
But you almost should have said besides a jig, what is
that would have been better.
Right. Yeah, it was hard for me to pick a shaky head over a jig for sure, because
somebody had to do it. It's like ESPN. You can't all pick the same thing.
Well, gosh, you could just do so much with a jig, 1 ounce jig, 3/4, so
that's what I said. That was my point.
Yeah.
Well, and a spinner bait too. I catch a lot of fish even in the winter, like when it's 42, 43 with just a big, like half ounce, well, actually 3/4 ounce spinner bait with a like size 7 single Colorado. Slow rolling it. You don't get a lot of bites, but you can still catch them on a spinner bait in that cold water. And it's fun, man. Especially if you get a little tint to it. They slide up a little bit shallow, and then just your standard willow leaf. Pretty much any other time of the year, you're going to catch them on that.
I think that's like one of the beautiful things about being from the central Midwest is we haven't lost touch with that spinner bait. Like I feel like most of the places you go in the country, you'd be like, "Oh, I really like throwing that spinner bait." They're like, "So what? You're throwing a what?"
Yeah.
But around here, like they bite a spinner bait, man. You talk about the Ozarks and the Truman Lakes and the Mark Twains, the Wapapellos, and the Grand Lakes. It's like, dude, that's spinnerbait 101. Like
you would probably be surprised how many young fishermen out there don't even have a spinnerbait in their boat.
I've always said that's one of those baits where if they're going to bite it, that's one of the easiest ways to catch 20 pounds.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like if they will bite it, that's one of the absolute easiest ways to catch 20 pounds.
Well, and you guys talk about the jig being versatile. Think about a spinnerbait too. Like you can throw it, like Gabe was saying, with a number 7 Colorado on it, or you can throw it with, a number 2 willow on there and just burn the piss out of it. Like either way, it's a great bait.
Or fish it deep too. You can fish it. I call it
1 ounce spinnerbait, short arm on
that thing.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty versatile.
I'm a big fan.
Where you at, JB, on yours? You've been thinking about it.
Well, since you said anywhere in the country, and that kind of like opened it up. So
yeah, I guess I didn't really take that into consideration with my
I'm gonna so mine's gonna be pretty, I guess, generic. I'm gonna go with not generic. It's gonna be a bone colored spook, because I feel that any time of the year, pretty well on any lake, especially spring, summer, I can catch them on a spook wherever I want.
In the one knocker or kind of the original?
Well, I prefer the one knocker.
That's what I like.
I like that one too.
I like the 2-hook one knocker. So, and then a moving bait, I'm gonna go with a 5XD. So,
okay.
And I know Jason's shaking his head because he's fished a little bit of Wapapello, and
yep. I mean, if Doug's listening, he'd be proud of you right now.
I know he is, because he just texted me like 2 giants that he caught today or recently. So he's out there in the world.
Classes in crankbait fishing, that's who you need to go with. That's
if you want to learn how to throw a crankbait any time of the year, just go fish with Doug. And then bottom bait, like I hate to say it, I'm gonna jump on the bandwagon. I mean, it's got to be a jig, right? Like I would say soft plastic, but I would be more apt to pick up a jig than soft plastic.
I think I might have to throw a secondary answer in here, because my original answer is for Lake of the Ozarks. If we're talking nationwide, like everywhere, I would have to say a buzzbait, a bladed jig, and a drop shot. That would be my 3 baits. I can be so efficient. Jason's seen this with the drop shot. It's just so efficient as to how many fish you can put your bait in front of in a day. Like if I'm just going to go around scoping, if I'm within 20 foot or 30 foot depth range somewhere the fish can get to the bottom to eat my bait, I'll just go throw that as many in a day as I could, because I'm throwing it right to them and dropping it right on their head. It's not like something I have to work all the way back to the boat. So whether I'm throwing it at structure or fish individually, I'm just throwing it right at the target and dropping it right on it and moving on. They either bite it or they don't.
That's such a young man's answer right there. I mean, come on.
That's a tour answer is what that is. That's like, I got 3 little kids that got some they need to eat some food this week. It's like, I've been gone for 2 weeks. It's like, I'm gonna go throw that pink worm out, man.
Oh man. My daughter's kicked my butt out of the back of the boat a bunch of times with a drop shot. That's her go-to, man.
Hey, I'm just here to tell you, they bite that thing.
They do, man. They do. I remember the first time I saw the pink worm. That was on Kentucky Lake, like
2014, bud. 2014.
Yeah. Like pink worm. What's up with this? And yeah, it works.
We're throwing a morning dawn.
Yeah.
And catching 7 and 8 pounders on a ledge. Like, you guys are outside of your mind right now. Like, no, I'm gonna go throw the biggest swim bait that I can physically throw, and this guy in the front of the boat just zzz.
Yep.
Like, what in the world is going on with my life?
So
you can actually swim that thing too. Like, if you put a little small swim bait or something on a drop shot, you can throw it out and reel it in real good.
Swim it around.
Yeah, catch them a lot of different ways on the old drop shot. Well, we're going to do 2 giveaways tonight. So the first giveaway, or I don't know what order they're going to happen in, but we're going to give away a $25 Baitworks gift card. And we're also going to give away, and we're going to talk about this new jig that just came out from Crock Gator, but we're going to give away a little starter pack of the new skipping jig by Crock Gator. So keep your ears peeled. We're just going to do the random tool generator to make it easy on JB tonight. But sometime during the stream, we'll make an announcement and we'll fire those off so you guys can
hold on
get you some goodies.
We did miss the big elephant in the room. Did you see anything tonight, Jason?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Really had to
back out after the stream to recover.
Oh, man, it was a fun night. Saw a pretty good buck about 15 minutes before dark come in. Watched him and another buck make a scrape. And so it was fun. Didn't see the one I was after, but it was a good night. In fact, when I got out of the tree stand, they had worked that scrape over for about 5 minutes or so, the entire area was filled with that musk odor, of the tarsal glands and all that. So my wife came back to get me, and I was like, "You smell that?" She goes, "Yeah, that stinks." I'm like, "Yeah." So it's close, but yeah.
But the rest of the world says, "Man, that smells good."
Yeah, that's right. So, but yeah,
I've only had one set in the woods this fall, and it's been. Well, I lied to you. I sat with my son over in Southern Illinois for youth season, but it's you know how it is when you're after a big one, you make sure that everything is in line.
Yeah,
it's not just a set and watch game. You got to have everything perfect. And I got, gosh, I don't know, my Onyx and my Spartan look like my Lowrances at one light. I mean, they're just full of pins everywhere. But you were right. It's definitely going. We're a week away, 2 weeks away in Southeast Missouri.
Yeah, that deer I passed on this evening, he might have been a 4-year-old buck, and he was, he had his. They did a little snort wheezing too, which I'd never heard in real life.
Oh, really?
That's cool. That was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Right in front of me, 20 yards in front of me, he did it. Had the ears pinned back, and I was like, "Wow,
that one gets your blood flowing, doesn't it?"
Oh man, there was does around, but they were more interested in just pushing each other around the bucks. So,
are you hunting food, or are you hunting?
Yeah, a little food plot. They're just. I don't think there's any acorns around where I'm at because they're coming in there like crazy. So,
see, that's our problem over here. Well, in Southern Illinois, at least where I hunt at, we have the acorn crop is ridiculous this year.
Oh yeah, I had that last year, and it was a terrible season. So,
yeah. But I'm hunting deep in the woods too. I don't have with hunting public ground. You don't have a lot of food access, and then when you do, you also share that with 45 other people.
Yeah. I've that deer I've seen this evening. I've killed so many deer in my life. When my kids go in a week or two, then they can kill it. That's fine. Right. I hold out.
Where are you at? Where are you hunting at?
This evening I was down in Fredericktown, but I've hunted all over the state of Missouri. My God.
I was just trying to get
where exactly are you hunting at, Jason?
I was seeing regionally where are you hunting at? If you were up north or
right now Fredericktown is where my farm is, but yeah, we hunt up north, and I don't hunt as much as I used to. I mean, growing up, that's all I did, hunting and fishing. But then you get kids and everything else, it kind of slows down a little bit. But I've hunted all over. I think northern Missouri, it's probably my favorite by far. The rut's just awesome up there. It's probably a lot like what southern Illinois is. I've never got to hunt Illinois, but
I'm praying that Monday after youth season this weekend is we're going to northern Missouri. So
oh man,
I got a buddy that's got he's got 150-ish acre farm up there. And I just found out tonight.
Doug does know where I hunt.
I'll call you later, Doug. It hasn't been. There's not been a boot on the ground on this 150 acres since August 1st.
Cheater box for hunting is called trail cams, I would say.
For sure.
I'm not familiar with that term.
The cheater box?
Cheater box?
No, cheater gear for hunting. I don't know what that is.
I think she meant cheater box.
Cheater gear.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the old trail cam. Everything's got a little niche.
I think the trail cam is the worst thing ever for me as a whitetail hunter.
You feel like you're chasing ghosts with it?
I chase.
You're two steps behind them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I went and pulled a camera tonight because it hasn't sent me a picture in 9 days now. And I don't know what's wrong with it.
That's probably the camera to hunt. That's probably
right.
Well, that's the thing. Like it lit up for like a week, but no giants. I mean, it was just a bunch of 2.5 and 3.5 year olds, which I'm not wasting a $500 out of state Illinois tag on a 3.5 year old. But I was fully expecting that scrape to be just trash that it was sitting on. That scrape hasn't been touched since the week that I hung the damn camera. Like, it's got, you wouldn't even know there's a scrape there. It's got leaves over it. It's like, you've got to be kidding me. And that scrape was as big as my desk. Like, it was a giant scrape, tore to hell. Like, looks great, and then nothing. But that's public land for you.
Yeah. I don't always mean they ain't there. Trust me.
Well, these cold, wet, rainy days are the days to hunt them, ain't they?
Mm-hmm.
Ethical? No, I won't.
The scrapes. The scrapes.
Yes, but I won't. I'll hunt after it stops raining. I don't want to hunt in the rain.
No. I just meant you get a lot of activity after the rain stops.
You would think I got half a dozen cameras set up on scrapes right now, and I haven't had crap in the last week. It's been slow.
Really.
Yeah. Now I've got buddies that are seeing all kinds of deer, and then I got most of the guys that I'm local with around here. We probably got 30 cameras between 4 of us, and it is slow. Slow.
Acre.
They were moving tonight on the way home. I saw a couple bucks standing on the side of the road that jumped back in the woods. Probably 3 or 4 does running around. So
I think down in the southern half here, we're still a couple weeks away from it being lights out. Now, this is a fishing podcast, not a hunting podcast. So
yeah, let's get on this new skipping jig, man. That's kind of one of the reasons why we had you guys on here. I know Jason and Michael saw me at Jason texted me. He said, "Hey, you got any availabilities coming up on the live stream? I got a new skipping jig coming out." And I hadn't heard of it, and he actually gave me one. I'm like, "That's a pretty sweet looking jig." And then Michael's super stoked about it. I actually saw some pictures that Jason showed me of one jig that was just looked like it got attacked by like muskies. It was just tore up, man. It was still holding
hanging on by a thread. That thing was like 75 fish deep, just still holding on. And you want to talk about sending something into a dock Mach 10. I mean, that thing had took some licks. I did finally end up breaking it off in a brush pile. Not shortly after that picture was taken, but that one and a couple others were definitely put through the ringer. Now, we skip a lot of jigs. Especially here at Lake of the Ozarks, but anywhere that you can get away with it, it's lethal technique. But here, it is an absolute staple, July through December, and mostly, July through October, and then again in the spring, obviously, when we get around the spawn. But I just found myself, I use that Zapper HD jig from Crock and Gator religiously, but I just would beat that keeper down a lot. After hitting 3 or 4 docks, I had mashed that lead keeper down on the HD jig to where it wouldn't hold my trailer very much, and you find yourself fiddling with your trailer all day long. You push it up, you skip it in there, it slides down, you push it up, and it's just after it just keeps getting beat down and beat down and beat down. And I always loved the idea of the Gator lock, which I don't know if you can see it here, right there.
Oh, yeah.
That was on the Wayne Fitzpatrick head, but it was on the bottom of the jig down here. Now, I love the idea of it, but that head had no skirt. It didn't have any lead on it. There's a lot of things about that I didn't like, but I liked the idea of that keeper. So I wanted to turn it to the top by putting it on top of this hook. You're not going to break it by sending it into those docks and into the concrete and anywhere else that you might skip this thing. That's not going to break off. As long as I have not broke one of these off yet. I mean, it may happen now and again, but it as opposed to it being on the bottom, it's light years better. The second thing the necessity to this jig was the hook. We didn't know what hook we were going to go with, but what I did know is it had to be a 2X strong stout hook, something that is not going to flex out. I rarely ever throw. There's finesse times that I throw the Zapper hook jig with the softer hook in it, but 90% of the time I like the 2X strong hook. So I wanted a really good premium hook in the bait, and I wanted it to have this really flat laid off line tie. If you can see when I hold this flat there, if you can see it.
Yeah, it looks good.
Okay, right there.
right there.
That's more laid off than what you would traditionally see on a jig. You would have more of a 45-degree angle on the line tie, and I wanted to lay that line tie down flatter so it would skip better going across the water. The problem was every 30-degree line tie hook that we could find was vertical instead of a horizontal line tie, and this is something that I feel strongly about when fishing structure or any type of bottom contact or rock, brush, anything like that. I really prefer this horizontal line tie as opposed to a vertical. And all those flat line tie jigs were vertical line ties that it meant for swim jigs and things like that. So we basically, Jason went to work finding the perfect hook for this, and it just ended up perfect. So we ended up getting the right hook. It's coated. What is it, Jason? Is it Teflon? Is that what it is?
Yes, Teflon coated.
So it's Teflon coated. It's got that slick feel that you're seeing on all your premium hooks nowadays. And one of my favorite things about it is how long it is from the back of this bend to the tip of this hook. It's something that you can't tell. It's hard to tell unless it's in your hand, but that is a shank right there on that. It's not a short little stubby dude. That thing is long. That's a lot of meat to get in it. It's got a nice angle to it that you can resharpen if you need to. I really haven't had to at all. That hook that you saw in that picture, and I'm sure we can leak that photo at some point with that prototype jig. I literally caught like 75 fish on this jig and not touched the hook. And it was perfectly upheld, not an issue with it. Not saying it's perfect, but that particular one was. So, but it is resharpenable if you need to. And the other thing that I had in my head about this is I feel strongly about these eyes. I don't know that they're a necessity, but I feel like it's something that's going to convert on a lot of extra bites for you. And the reason being, I feel like most of the time when you're skipping docks and you're catching bass, skipping boat docks, they think that they are eating bluegill or shad, not crawfish. I'm not saying they're not eating crawfish down there, but when you're skipping a jig into a dock and you're watching on the cheater box a fish scream down from the floats down to the bottom and eat your bait, they think they're eating those bluegill. They're hovering around those floats, sucking on the algae and chasing the minnows and all that stuff. I just have always felt that way. So, adding that nice deep socket, high definition eye, it's really hard to tell, but let's see if it'll focus there. That eye is really deep. There you can see it. You can see how deep that eye is. And let me show you on a white head here. This is a different color, but
oh yeah, you can really see it on that white.
You can see how deep that eye socket is. It's really recessed in there, and you can see how flat this jig is on the bottom here. Nice and flat. That's a really, basically a skipping stone is what I had in mind. So between this keeper, the dual keeper, you still have this nice piece of lead on here. Let me turn that off there. You still have this nice barbed keeper right there as well, that you can push your plastic up on, and then once you get that plastic up on there, you'll take this wire and lock it down just like that, and that's what'll hold that jig up or hold your plastic on there for basically, I don't know, 10x what you would normally get out of a jig trailer. You put a bait like, it can be anything. I just had to happen to have this laying here. This is just a rage bug. I would cut this down a little bit. I don't like the full length one on there, but take that off. Slide this dude up there. And then so you can see, possibly, there you go, that wire. I'm going to slide this up on there and then push this wire down into the bait and then hook it just like that.
It's not going nowhere.
That literally will not, it will not pull off of there.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, to tear the whole thing, you're catching triple, quadruple, 10x the amount of fish on one trailer that you normally would. So
I think for me on that one though, Michael, it's not the fish tearing it off. It's when you're skipping it up under those docks, it's not coming back sideways because you
get that perfect cast and then you reel it in and it's bundled up on the bottom. It's just a killer. Like that happening 4, 3, 2, 1 time a day. All that's got to happen is one time, the one hole that had a 5-pounder in it, and it comes in there and your bait's all messed up. I mean, what are we doing? So I saw an opportunity for a jig that I really thought there was a market for, and then I just, can't express how thankful I am enough to be able to do it. For Jason to allow me to do it and make all the tweaks that I did to it. I mean, how many revisions do you think we made to that jig, Jason? Starting probably about a year ago now, I'd say is when we started on it, and we got the first rendering on that deal. And how many times do you think we sent that back to the?
At least 3. I know.
Oh man,
at least 3. It does take a lot to, like what Mike was saying. I mean, to start with something that you got an idea and to bring it together, there's a lot of work. It's finding that hook was
a nightmare.
And
it's not just a round bend hook. It's got
it's a hook company that you've never heard of. They're not even out yet. But the hook company is called Ravex. And it's not a round and it's not O'Shaughnessy. If you look at it, it's a kind of a mix between the two.
I call it a hybrid. That's what it looks. I mean, that's the best way I can describe it. It's not like that super cantered hook that you see like on the Omega head. A lot of people love that hook and people rave about it, but I think it's just a little too much a lot of times. And that's what, it's still going to come back in on itself a little bit, but not to that extent, and it's just in between. So I refer to it as a hybrid. I mean, is there an actual designation to it, Jason?
Not that I'm aware of. No. The point on it, they call it forged point. Yeah. So when I first got the samples of those hooks, I sent them to Mike and I said, hey, put them through the test, hook them on something, see if you can roll that point, see if you can do this and this. And, he called me like a day later and he's like, Jason, these things are crazy. They penetrate so well with that Teflon coating, and the tip seems to really, really hold up.
It's performing so far. I obviously would like, we got to see what people are saying, but man, the few jigs that we prototyped were incredible with the hookup, and just I've been beyond impressed. I'm really excited to see what comes of it. I really, really am.
Do you like that line tie the way it is for skipping, for knot protection? What are all of the above?
I feel like it comes through the structure the best.
Okay.
Whether it's the rock or whatever the case may be. I don't think that skipping wise it would matter really. Knot protection I could definitely see, but it's just not a wedge. It's so to speak. With a vertical line tie, you're driving a wedge into something, as opposed to a flat surface. When you pull it to something, it wants to roll over the top of it, as opposed to driving that wedge in, that vertical line tie into your branch, or bark on a brush pile or something like that, or a rock, 2 holes in a rock, or even a dock. Imagine all the little hook, little hooks that you can get caught on, like if you guys are familiar where the dock cables connect to the dock itself, you got those little clasp joints right there, and your bait slides down the cable into that little spot and gets hung up every time. Places that in that circumstance in particular, you're screwed no matter what. But you can kind of see my point. That's what I feel like anyway, is that it's just more likely to roll over something as opposed to a vertical line tie hook. That's better in the grass situation.
I completely agree with you. I was just seeing what your thoughts were too.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at.
I cannot confirm or deny that I got a jig from Jason at the Warrior.
There was very limited. There was very, very limited. I like 4. I think I walked into the place with 3 in my pocket is the way that went down.
Yeah, that's definitely not enough. It was high demand for sure.
Yeah.
I want to show, let me pull up the Crock and Gator website here and look at the different colors of this jig, because you got some pretty interesting colors. Let's see here. These are all, in my opinion, pretty
dope
colors. Yeah, so you got a 7/16 and a 9/16, that's a really good all around color. But I like that color right there, Magic Crawl. It looks really good.
That's my jam right there.
Yeah, that's pretty sexy, dude.
It's got a little 2-tone head too, a little kiss of orange on the bottom of the head.
Yeah, and then like you mentioned, I mean, I don't disagree with you at all about what those fish around those docks are thinking the jig is. It's a shad or it's a bluegill. So you've got some pretty nice shad colors going on too.
And that's something I feel like's overlooked on a skipping jig, So that green gizzard is I think one of Jason and I both's favorites. The only one I think I put in front of that is the Magic Crawl, just because I've caught so many fish on it. Just that's just my go-to. But that one there,
yeah, that one's nice. I like
black head on that. I really, that one, and the sunfish one's a really good bluegill imitator as well.
Yeah, that's what I got here. This is actually like the very first prototype we had. Okay, first finished product.
Green gizzard, bluegill.
Who didn't do not disturb?
Do not
Jason.
And then crappie. I mean, we mentioned bluegill and shad, but crappie, I mean, that's a huge.
I think sweet.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, a bass eat a lot of crappie.
Yeah. We were talking about the trend being the heavier stuff too. We're working on knocking one of those out as well.
Sweet.
So I may or may not have a prototype of that.
There might be one if my ADD self hasn't lost it yet.
You got it.
I know you guys are talking about sexy jigs. That one you just had up there was pretty damn sexy.
Which one, the black and blue?
Yeah.
I can't beat it, man.
Hard to beat black and blue.
You can't beat that off with a stick.
I really like these dark head and black dark colors this time of year.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking that you got that Magic Crawl.
I really like
that. The brown purple scale and the peanut butter and jelly are not on there, Gabe, because I don't have the brown heads yet.
Okay.
So we got some brown ones coming too. Yeah, the browns and the blacks and the whites are what I seem to go to later in the colder water. And I kind of get away from those like real bright blue yellow colors and the greens. I like the browns and blacks more as it gets colder. I don't know why. That's just seems like a more muted color. That's what they tend to bite better for me. I don't know. What about you guys?
I don't know what the thoughts are, but that magic, is it Magic Swirl, Magic Crawl?
Magic Crawl.
That one.
Magic Crawl, that head.
Magic Crawl right there.
With like a PB&J. Especially with that orange throat in there.
The Ozark Crawl is by far my biggest seller. There's no doubt.
Yeah, which is a darker,
it's this guy.
Color.
Yeah. It's got a little bit of green, a little bit of black and red glitter in it. It's just one of them really good all around colors. But
yeah, I don't see a color I don't like, to be honest with you guys. I mean, they all really look good. You did a good job. It's hard to do. It's hard to make your colors look a little bit different and match up all the strands to. It's kind of like building a house when you design the inside of a house with tile and flooring and all that. It's all got to jive, the head, the weed guard, and the different skirt colors. And
pick what Tyler wants to know. Is it wire tied, rubber band?
It's just a standard banded skirt.
Okay.
There is one thing that I considered doing with this jig that we didn't, just because of versatility. I didn't want to limit anybody, but I find myself a lot of the time when I'm skipping docks cutting this inner line of skirt out. So basically, if you can see what I've done is I separated that skirt. There you go.
Gotcha.
and I will actually cut this like a finesse cut, a reverse finesse cut is basically what it is. And basically cutting half of the skirt material out of this on the inside, the hook side, instead of the outside, like you would if you were finesse cutting a jig. It just cuts a lot of the skirt material out of it and gives it a little bit smaller presentation, and it makes it fall faster. Is what that's what led me to doing that. And then I found a lot of variations. I like cutting that skirt down quite a bit. That's something that I do. Like, you look at it, you're like, holy crap, there's like hardly anything on there. And some of those pictures of the prototype, there's literally like 4 strands of skirt on there on that beat up jig, and they're still biting it. It's unpainted, never any eyes in it, and they're just chewing it. So
is that less friction too? I mean,
I wish we could plug that picture. If Jason sent you that, can you plug that up on the screen? Is that possible, Gabe, or no?
Not off my phone. No, I should have set it up. I could have uploaded it to my computer. And
dude, that picture's pretty cool. That picture's pretty cool.
Yeah, that jig is gnarly. It's definitely been field tested, tried and true.
Yeah, just like that. Yep. I should have done one here. That's how I like it. And then I cut her down real short, just like that, man. That's how I cut it like 90% of the time. Now say I'm going with like a lighter jig though, like the 7/16, and it's colder water, like we're talking about these browns and blacks and stuff. I feel like I like the more full skirt for that. But when I'm getting after those shad and bluegill fish, I like cutting that band out. I gotta have some scissors here.
No, I literally just had a jig here that I cut out. So.
Yeah. Just like
not anything that's a Crock Gator, but it's definitely to show you what the difference of your swim jig line ties one way versus the other. So
yep, exactly. So, and that's more like for you guys and grass fishing and all that.
That's what I was just gonna say. The grass fishing, this comes through the grass grade.
That's better for grass. Yeah.
Yep.
So
I mean, and it seems like that's just a super simple nuance, but knowing that comes through the grass and yours doesn't, like,
right.
I mean, it will come through I'm not saying it
but no, it's just what it's built for, right?
Yeah, this is a grass jig. So
and the actual head design shape has a lot to do with it.
And the angle of the hook, like the difference of
there's a lot that goes into a jig. People don't realize.
Absolutely.
Low key, boys, like whenever I was prototyping this thing, like don't sleep on this as a scoping jig either. Like it might be called a skipping jig, but a lot of the prototyping I did with it, I was not skipping it. And they were biting it. You know, same type of deal. Scoping jig, it's basically a high definition jig that you don't have to mess with the trailer all the time on. Especially once we get that heavy one out.
Didn't you have a guy on your boat? You told him to try to take the trailer off?
He said it wouldn't come off.
Yeah.
He asked why it wouldn't come off. He couldn't get it off. I said, you got to pull hard. It sticks.
Let me see if I can solo me out. And I can't get this to upload on my computer, but there's the prototype jig.
Yes, like is there like literally like 2 strands of skirt on
maybe, yeah, at most.
It's no eyes, unpainted.
Chewed on. Yeah.
Just chewing it. So that was Lake of the Ozarks in what, early August? I think that's about when it was. I had like 3 good days. I literally had, how many did you give me, Jason? 2?
Yeah.
3? And not because you were being stingy. That's just all there was.
It's all the hooks I had. I didn't have any hooks. It was
she said, why have a skirt? Honestly, I mentioned selling some naked ones even, because I think people could benefit by just putting plastic on them.
Mm-hmm. That's what Stephanie was saying. Why have a skirt? And then Phil was saying, why do we need a skirt? Just a crawl would work.
Mm-hmm. So, and we may at some point offer some just, without a skirt on them as well, just naked. But yeah, you could always take it off too.
I'm kind of like you, Mike, though. Like, I like a jig that has, we can call it been beat up, but with like 10 strands
some character.
10 strands of skirt material left on it. Like,
I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but this was my favorite one Mike sent me.
Oh
Yeah.
that good.
Exactly. Like 10 strands of skirt material left on it, and it's
Yeah, it started as a full skirt. I didn't intentionally just have 2 strands on there.
Hey,
It
look at
just
that
was.
trailer.
I
That was
caught
my-
so many fish that was literally eaten out of the jig. The skirt was just eaten out of it.
and I agree with you on that, but it seems like it gets better with time, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So,
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
a lot of times what I'll do is I'll either cut them off or pull them out.
Mm-hmm.
And where you get down to just a almost like it's only a single tab of skirt material.
Yeah, or less.
Yeah.
And you just have confidence. And that's the thing that I found about this is I was able to run it for days and days. So the fact that the hook's not failing, there's the picture. That's the one I was talking about. Look at it all broken and battered, and that's what I mean, sending it Mach 10 into stuff. Look at the teeth marks on that.
Yeah, that thing's been chewed on a bunch.
So I'm excited about it, man. I'm really excited about it. We worked hard on it, and Jason basically let me do everything that I asked on it, and then any idea I had, he listened, and that's just it's really cool to be able to have an idea like that come to life that you worked on and worked hard. I've never had an opportunity like that. I'm just super excited to get it out there and get it in some people's hands and hear what people have to say about it.
So somebody's wanting to buy those. Where can they get them?
So we got them at Fitz's right now at the lake, and then I think Jason said some just landed at Extreme today. Yeah, and then they're also available on the website. And then I think we'll just, as they come out, you'll slowly start seeing them trickle into the retailers and stuff. I don't, it just takes somebody showing it to people, and they're going to say they want to have that in their store. I think it's a premium product. It's just about getting the word out there now. So,
Jason, is that something that you're going to launch with just buying heads and packages as of right now, or are we just waiting on that?
Buying heads and packages.
Yeah, just the heads, just the naked.
Just the naked head.
We hadn't really talked about it yet, but
I haven't talked about it. I mean, right now you've seen what we're offering on the website, but yeah, I haven't talked about the naked head. I did have, I think it was Marfell, wasn't it, Gabe?
Yeah, Mike. Actually, I talked to him today on the way home, and he said to make sure to relay the message that he's still interested. So we can talk off camera about that. But imagine once you get everything stocked and out there, then you might consider doing something additional. But it's probably hard to get everything covered. Once you launch something, it's like make sure everybody's got the baits, and then you're selling stuff, and you got to get a good surplus, get things stocked before you kind of make any changes, I would imagine.
Yeah. Well, I think once we get some support going and get it sold and used, we kind of got a little late behind the 8 ball as far as timing and release on it, not because of anybody's fault, just trying to push the production and get it all together and a final product. We were hoping for, Big Bass Bash time frame, and just one thing after another. It's just kind of small hiccups and delays. So being this time of year, especially, I feel like, the wintertime, that stuff will slow down. And once the springtime gets around, it'll start getting picked back up, and everybody's excited to go skip a dock again,
Yeah. Timing's everything, but at the same time, it's hard. Everything's got to go just right, and it usually doesn't go exactly right. Just a 1 week delay here, 1 week delay there, and next thing you're a little bit further into fall. But
the nice thing about it, I guess we could say, is the silver lining is hopefully we'll have by the time people are really beating the doors down for them, we'll have a good stock and plethora of them. We don't have shortages. We'll be able to keep everybody stocked up and fulfilled.
Right. And it's not just for skipping docks either, folks.
No, that's what I'm talking about. I really think it's gonna be a bad to the bone scope and jig.
Yeah, right.
It may be a better scope and jig than it is a skip and jig.
Yeah, especially if you get that next size up too. That's gonna.
That's what I mean. Once that big one comes out, and we may not be done with that. We might have to go even bigger, Jason. I don't know.
There you go. John said
I got the hooks.
We got the hooks.
Yeah. So I seen Ryan Davis on there. Thank you very much for the comment. on Crock Gator jigs.
Oh yeah, right. There we go. Yeah, he says definitely we'll be buying these. Crock Gator jigs have been my jig for a long time. Yeah, there's a lot of people that would say the same thing. Just like the head knocker is, been around for so long. People think of a buzzbait, they think of a head knocker.
Mm-hmm.
Jigs the same way. The zapper jig and the Weesey jig, those have been
Yeah.
around
Well,
for.
and I was talking about those zappers, and I've got so much confidence in them. I don't mean to run them down by saying I was smashing the weed guard down. It's just
You're just
I
too
don't
hard
know
to
that
get,
if
man.
that jig is not meant for doing that, and that's where we had the opportunity to do what we did. There's still plenty of opportunity to use that jig, and you bet your butt I will be when it comes time to flip a log and a lay down. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it's still got its time and its place. You take me to Truman Lake, tell me to flip a stump in March, it's gonna be that one, So it's just everyone has its home. We just found a little hole in the market, I feel like, for something that people are gonna really like.
Jason, you said this hook company is a new hook company. Is this something that they're going to just have jig hooks, or they're going to have EWGs, round bends, the whole gamut?
I'm not exactly sure. He just started. Like, the gentleman's been flying back and forth to China from Florida, where the factory is, and which I think every hook factory is, as I've learned. But I don't know what all he's going to offer. I have to give him a huge shout out for even getting me these, to be honest with you, because I don't, like Mike said, nobody else has this hook. Nobody else can get this hook as far as I know. So just look for him to come out. Ravex, like Mike said, been super impressed with the quality of that hook.
I really, really am. There's no doubt about that. And I think that for now, anyway, it seems like he's mostly just in the manufacturing side of it, as opposed to like selling packages of hooks. I think he's doing and I could be wrong, but it seems like, like bait inlays and stuff like that more so than like selling package hooks. Hopefully down the line, because I could use a hook company, and these things are pretty sweet. So if they want to start making some worm hooks and everything else, I'd be down for it.
Yeah.
Well, let's give away a few of these jigs. If you want to get involved in the giveaway, hashtag capital C, capital O, capital G. We'll let that run for a little while, and then we'll draw, and somebody's gonna walk away with a few sweet little jigs. So let that run a little bit. Yeah, so something else I wanted to talk about, and this is kind of just back to Lake of the Ozarks fishing. You talk about it's been a little bit tough because the lake just gets hammered repeatedly, starting in September all the way through October. You got Toyota Series, you got BFLs, you've got Big Bass Bash, and just a bunch of other tournaments. When do you see the fish start to transition? We're right in the middle of what people call the fall transition. And I know it's kind of doesn't happen overnight. It's really, really spread out type of deal. But what do you see on the lake where you consider that we're in the fall transition, and kind of when does it start? What are you looking for? What makes the fish move and the different locations? Just kind of talk about that whole fall transition process.
So I call basically the month of October on this lake is like the Big Bass Bash funk, like that. Yeah. And it's not that, it is some of it. But that's not the reason why it sucks. Like if we had like a 3-day 40-degree cold snap right after the Big Bass Bash, those fish would still go berserk the next day. What really our issue is this lingering warm water temperature. I put the boat in this morning at like 7:30, and it was 69-degree surface temp, and it's literally almost November. So to me, those fish are still hanging on to that like late summer pattern. It's really what it is, and they, once they're at the tail end of that pattern and they've been fished for and beat up, and they haven't switched their mindset or their grooves, like that light hasn't changed, or like light bulb hadn't gone off in their head yet for a seasonal pattern, that's when it's brutally tough. And you see that at the end of every seasonal pattern. As those fish have been beat up and pressured, it starts slowing down. They don't want to bite. and then you get this like real like conviction of a front, whether it's a cold front in the winter or the fall, or a warm front in April and May. Like that's the thing that triggers them to go off, or the first warm, like major warm front after the winter. Like those are the major fronts I'm talking about, or like major changes that will cause like a chain reaction, complete blank reset of the fish's mentality. Like once that happens, like say we have this next week, I haven't looked at the weather, but say we had 4 days of nasty, miserable cold, like not like cold, but like really cold, like getting below freezing at night and then in the 40s or 50s during the day. You get 3 or 4 days of that, then all of a sudden, bam! It's like a new lake out there, and those fish haven't seen a lure in a whole year. And then it's just slowly change. It slowly slows down as they progress towards their next like major seasonal change. That's just the way I feel about it.
Yeah, yeah, because the shad have been moving around for quite a while. You can go back and, or this is how it was like a month ago almost. You could go back in just about any cove and creek, and you see the shad back there. And then one thing,
it was like a false front. It was like a false start.
Yeah, and then some of those shad moved. Like some of the areas that I was down there, I can't remember when it was. I was down there like a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months ago. No, probably like a month and a half. But I'd found some areas that had shad. They were thick. There was fish locating to the shad.
Like there's activity, right?
Right, there's activity, right? But then I went back during that Warrior William and some of those same coves. I think it was BFL and then to the Warrior William, like a 2-week span. Some of those coves, the shad had moved out of a lot of them. It was kind of weird.
Dude, like in the Toyota practice leading up to the Toyota, it was dumb. Like the fish, they were eating the shad and like the progression that they had made. And then it like completely reverted and it went away. And I feel like, dude, I could be completely crazy and somebody could correct me if I'm wrong. But leading up to that Toyota, we had been like drought city, hardly any rain. And I feel like I might be misremembering, but all the leaves were starting to change. Like starting to get yellow and red. The leaves were changing. It was all droughted up. The shad were in the backs of the coves. It was like it was the end of mid-November. And then we had like 4 inches of rain in 2 days, or 7 inches of rain in 2 days, or whatever it was leading up to that Toyota. And all the trees greened back up and all the shad pulled back out to the mouths of the coves like it was September 1st.
Okay.
And I don't know if I'm crazy, but that's just what it seemed like to me. And it's like they they thought their fall was coming and it just didn't happen. And now we're just hanging on to that until we get that like for real major cold snap, and then it'll get really good again. Topwater bite will pop off, the buzzbait bite, the glide bait bite, all the fun stuff.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was referring to. I think it was the difference from the BFL to
the Toyota,
the Warrior William. Like in between there was the 2 time frames I was down there, and there were creeks that had a bunch of shad in it, and then all of a sudden they just. I mean, I'm not saying there wasn't any shad, but it just wasn't. It wasn't banging like it was. You
would have thought that it would have been the opposite.
Yeah, but that just shows you it's like fish just do whatever they want to do. They don't.
It's different every year. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, they're just doing their own thing. Let's draw this. All right, here we go. The suspense is killing me. Brent Blythe.
There you go.
Brent, I think he went lowercase and then he went back capital. So good call. Brent, just get a hold of me on Facebook, Gabe Montgomery Fishing, or 10 Horse Monty, or on Instagram, 10 Horse Monty 6. And I will get your information over to Jason and he can take care of you. So congratulations. And we'll do another giveaway here in just a minute. Clear this out. Go back up here. Hey, we touched on glide baits a while ago, Mike or Michael. That's something that I've been like, I play around with it a little bit, but then I give up on it because you just don't get a lot of feedback, or I don't. I mean, I've caught some fish on it, but it's one of those deals where I think myself and a lot of people that are watching, we're trying to figure out, what's something to look for that says, hey, this is a good day to be throwing a glide bait, or this is the right water temperature, or some just variables. What are you kind of looking for when you're going to be putting a glide bait in your hand and know that you got a chance to catch your fish on it?
It's honestly it's pretty easy for me. Like you find what, if you're feeling it, like for me I don't I don't plan to go throw my glide bait, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have to feel that. So I'm out there and I'm throwing whatever the case may be, and maybe it's ripping on the spot I'm at, or I look across the lake and the wind's ripping on a cool looking point, or like it's a conditional like moment type deal for me. And if I'm feeling it and I go over there to a spot that looks right, or wherever, if I'm in a spot that looks right for it at that given moment, and I throw it out there, if I don't get some interaction within like 10 or 15 minutes, or like that spot, or I say I hit 3 spots, bang, 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 and I don't get any feedback on it, I'm probably going to put it down for a while. And then I might check it back again later or something. But I'm not going to go throw that thing for 6 hours and not get a bite. Absolutely not.
Okay.
Like when they're biting it and the things are set up right for it, you can catch, you will get a lot of action. Like it's not going to be
situational for you.
Yes, and it's not like you're gonna get 2 bites on it. Like the days when you should be doing it, when it's good, like you're gonna get bites, you're gonna get opportunities, and so that's what I like. I want to see some immediate interaction, and if I don't, I'm not gonna keep throwing it.
Okay, that's good.
I might check it again later, but I'm not gonna like burn my day down throwing it. Now the other day,
you've had good success on a glide bait on a sunny, slick day and also on a cloudy, windy day. Is there any correlation between the two? Is like one of them better? I mean, they can both be good potentially.
Yeah, absolutely, they can both be good. Yeah, like now I'm not gonna go out there hucking the thing around if the wind's not blowing.
Okay.
Like, I feel like you got to have some chop for the most part. Yeah.
Yep. I threw it a little bit today, but it was just slick calm, and because the conditions. I'm always thinking. For me, when you get a rainy, cloudy day, that brings several other baits into play that may not work, when it's kind of calm and sunny and slick. So I was thinking, I'm trying to get some confidence in a glide bait. I think today would have been a really good day if we would have had.
It'd be more
wind, maybe
more like what JB was talking about, and using it to find them on a day like today. Like they'll still show themselves to it when there's no wind. It's just like next to impossible to get them to bite it most of the time, unless you got like a bunch of them there or something.
Yeah, you're gonna get a lot of follows probably there because they're just getting like, a good look.
If you can get like 6 or 7 fish on it at a time or more, then you can probably have a lot better odds to get them to bite it. I mean, whatever I see is kind of Phil's comment there. I mean, I'm still trying to dial that in, and it depends on what size glide and what you're wanting to do. Like, feel like there's 2 types mainly. There's cover glides and there's calling glides, is what I would kind of refer to them as. I don't know what like most people would, but like a cover glide is more of a darty reaction type bait, like your Chad Shads and your Hyper Shads and your smaller ones like the Clutch Darter and the Eco. Like your smaller, more darty baits are more like your cover type ones, like you're gonna throw it at a lay down and down the side of a dock and be more like target oriented with it. And then you have your more like calling type glides, which are gonna be your bigger baits that make big wide S's that you're gonna call fish from larger distances, and they're typically gonna be bigger baits. So for those 5 and 6 inch type cover glides, just a jig rod with 20 or 25 pound fluorocarbon and a semi-fast gear ratio reel is what works for me. Because you still want to be accurate, you still want to have some tip. You could throw it on mono too. A lot of people do, and I've been playing with that. The big ones is what is throwing me off on the setups, because when you get a big bait like that, regardless of what you are using, if you have a a mechanical error with your reel or you mess up or something on the cast, sayonara.
Yeah.
Like the bait is gone, and you're hucking $200 and some baits out there. It's like, oh my gosh!
Yeah.
I broke off a clutch boss figure eighting a fish at the boat at one point this year.
No.
And
Cry.
Oh, dude, like I literally wanted to cry. And my buddy that was with me is like, I cannot believe that just happened. And then we're fishing a tournament at that AFCO deal, and he threw a topwater up in front of me right as I was about to cast, and I tried to stop it, and that thing just into oblivion. See you later. Another clutch boss to donate to Lake of the Ozarks. So, and that's the big dog. That's the big boy. That's the one that does that. And so I think I need to revisit my knot probably. Seems like it's probably where it's breaking. But if that thing pops like that with that much weight, it don't really matter what type of line you got. It's gonna break. So
well, that and the wear and tear on the tip, your rod tip, like
where you cast it.
That's huge. And if you're not, I mean, think about when you're Lake of the Ozarks and you're fishing riprap or rocks, or like you're retying often, especially in a tournament, like you're not going 8 hours and not retying your jig.
Right.
But, glide baits, we just think of hucking and winding and it's not touching anything. So your line's
you're like, oh, I'm good, but it's weakening.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Like now I'm so like gun shy. Like I'm like scared. I'm scared.
The Q-tips and like check the tips of your rods just to make sure that there's not like a broken insert or something.
Something, man. Like I'm a little gun shy on that. So you asked about my rod and reel and stuff. I don't know that I would listen to me on the ask Josh Plaidies what he would do. I don't know. Don't ask me, man. I'm good at losing. That's why he's still in business.
I think Josh sells 25-pound mono. Because we had
that's the one that I tried to stop it, and it was 25-pound big game.
Okay, because I mean we had Brock Bila and Josh on here together, and I think Brock is a fluorocarbon guy, and then Josh.
That's what I normally use.
Yeah.
So the one I broke off figure eighting was 25-pound fluoro, and I had just tied it on like 20 minutes before that.
How'd you break it off figure eighting?
The fish bit it, and I pulled and broke him off.
It was just short line, huh?
Yeah. I literally saw it and was working it at the boat in Lake of the Ocean, going crazy like this, and it freaking bit it, and I pulled and broke it off. So I mean, like this much line out.
And the bait, the fish.
That was fluorocarbon in a tournament.
Damn.
In a tournament.
That's a bad.
We wasn't a small fish.
That's a bad
and
deal.
That was the fluorocarbon. I'm like, dude, I'm scared, so I'm gonna put it on mono. And then I went out there and that happened, and I tried to stop. I didn't even try to stop it hard. It was just a short little roll cast, and I saw that bait go flying in front of me, and I just gut instinct. I just tried to stop it, kind of like pull it like that, like not give it that snap, and it still just kapow.
Well, hold on.
And I instantly kicked it on 100 and jammed my rod in the water trying to get it, and it was gone. I'm like, gosh dang it.
How heavy is that bait?
I don't know. I don't know exactly how much. I got one somewhere. I just got one in the mail. I don't know where it's at.
It's at least 4 ounces or so. I mean, it's
a big dog, and I probably had some. I had some weight in it, I'm sure.
Well, our equipment's not meant for 4 to 7 ounce baits.
But then, like you catch, you have those 20-pound. To have a 20-pound day on it, and you boat flip every fish. Now I'm like, I ain't doing that no more.
Right?
Yeah.
How about that one that comes up to the gunnel, hits the gunnel, and
goes out?
Yeah, with your bait in his mouth still.
Yeah. So I'm hesitant on that, but there is definitely a place in the tournament world for those for sure.
Well, like your 6-inch like a trick shad or something, you can just throw that on a flipping stick with a
just like a jig, like a pretty soft rod.
It doesn't hurt to lose a $25 or $30 bait as much as it hurts to lose a $200 bait.
Like I've never casted off a 6-incher. I don't think it's just those big ones that do that.
Mm-hmm. I think Mike Buka's throwing braid on his his
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
I don't like braid for that.
I feel like that would snap easier.
Yeah, right. The OA rig.
Dude, I can't cast braid. I'm not a good enough caster. Like, there's that's a whole other wormhole. Like, there's there's got like featherers, and then there's like not like thumb off guys. I'm a thumb off guy. And
Oh,
like that and braid does not go together.
Well,
Like, I thumb it when I start it and when I stop it. I don't feather it the whole way.
You grew up with reels that actually had a decent brake system. We all grew up with reels that had crappy brake systems that our dad handed it us. It's like, don't backlash this.
Don't do it again or you ain't coming no more.
Yeah. So
you get a
we learned it wasn't a feather. It was God gave you
Yeah.
a thumb for a reason, and
Yeah.
by God, you better use it.
So, like, me and braid don't get along. I use braid when it's a necessity for using a bait caster, and that is it. Now, spinning rod, obviously, but I don't like using it on a bait caster if I don't have to.
I would venture to say, Gabe, I know mine are, yours are, like, our brakes are turned way off for the most part.
So you're thumb bar guys.
Yeah, I'm a thumb guy. Yeah, for sure.
So even skipping docks, I just like I don't know.
You
Just
give a
two
reel
different-
like when it backlashes?
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm gonna put it where it needs to go. Like, it's going in there. It's just
It just may have a couple extra overruns.
there's just two different ways of doing it. That's all. Jason's seen it. He knows how it is.
Yeah.
So who's the best skipper on Lake of the Ozarks?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about. I plead the fifth.
Favorite band. I mean, it's hard to pick. It's all about getting it in there. I think
Probably Roger.
Roger's pretty good. I fish behind him.
If you really want to go down that rabbit hole, it's got to depend on a guy that can do this, 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 and this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of guys just do this, but they're just absolute snipers with it.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. Like, I try to be able to use. I'm kind of like, I use my left more than I do my right anymore. But like,
Really?
try to pitch, yeah.
Kind of
So, like,
backhand, sort of.
I mostly roll cast like this or like this.
Okay.
So, like, I'll go in one side and fish it this dock this way, and then turn to this dock and fish it this way.
Oh, with your actual left hand.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
And then, like, if I got a pitch like that, I'll pitch it this way, and then
I can backhand it and go that way.
so you got to be able to do it both with the other hand too.
This hand is just
we don't have enough
another
dots.
appendage on my body.
So I don't feel like you can even enter the conversation until you have all four of those. Once you have those four, there is no angle that can hide.
The only thing that this hand can do better than this hand is punch. I can't pitch a weight with a big weight with my right hand.
Yeah.
But you put a 1 ounce weight in my left hand, and I can
do that.
I can put it in the mouth of a soda can.
Yeah.
I'm 2 out of 4. I'm 2 out of 4. I mean, I can sidearm skip and I can pitch skip with my right,
but not the other side.
Not my left. No, I mean, I can pitch with my left, no problem, but not really good skipping.
I think Gabe, you put us a year on a lake like Lake of the Ozarks with all the.
You'd figure you'd do it.
We get better at it for sure. We just don't have that opportunity. We have one lake over here called Lake of Egypt in southern Illinois that has docks, but you cannot fish within 10 feet of the docks. So we have a training ground. We just can't utilize it without somebody coming out.
Get in trouble. The Karen's coming out.
Exactly. I had a guy text me the other day yesterday about Lake of Egypt. He said, "Can you still fish the docks?" And I said, "Well, you can until somebody comes out
and yells at you.
Yeah,
with a camera."
Yeah. His question was, "How do you know which ones you can fish?" And I'm like, "You'll find out really quick which ones you can't fish."
Yeah, the one
I'm sure.
There's a couple guard dogs over there, man. They come out, they start chirping on you pretty hard.
So, for anybody listening, though, the way I learned with my left hand was in the house. By the way, in the wintertime.
So we don't have any excuses. We can do it.
Pitching at a coffee cup. That's how I learned to do it. Just watching TV. But the thing is you cut your jig off, cut your hook off, not one of these. And you find your old nasty hook and cut the hook off, or jig. I mean, and I just turn a coffee cup on its side and slide it into it over and over and over and over and over and over again with my left hand until it was natural.
Pitching it, right?
That's the first way I learned with my left. Yeah. So I could go skip it, roll with my right, and I could pitch it with my right. But I wanted to learn how to pitch it like this with my left. and that's what I learned
One-handed
first.
too, right?
Yeah, well, both, but
No, one-handed, not
both.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking like reel it up and pitch it right back in there.
Yep.
Yeah, never touch it. Absolutely.
No, I'm talking like. See, I'm still a two-hand caster. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. Like I have two hands on the rod.
What about if you have the bait in your hand though?
Well, I can pitch, but if I'm casting,
yeah.
If I'm casting,
I can't do like the Jacob Wheeler thing.
Yeah.
With one hand. No, that's crazy. I have a couple buddies that cast like that. That's crazy.
The one-handed, like just
I can do it this way, but like trying to grab the rod with one hand and like cast it with one hand and not put this hand on it. No, that's the devil's work. I can't do that.
You said Jacob Wheeler, but that's like old school pistol grip guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Wheeler does it. Have you he's one of the only dudes left that fishes like that.
I got a buddy in that regional at the Quad City Regional. That's how he did, just one-handed, just like casting out there. Younger guy too. That's just how
you're a freak. That's crazy. I can't do that.
Forearms like this big around.
Phil's flexing here. He said he had one skip for $100,000.
Yeah, no, he is undefeated with that. There's no doubt.
Yep,
no doubt. King of the castle is what we call that.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what we call that.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
There's a lot to that skipping, man. It's like, it's not just getting it in there; it's getting it way back in there, because there's a, let's just say you take 100% of the fishermen that fish Lake of the Ozarks. You got 20% of them can flip to the outsides of the docks, and then there's another 20 that can kind of skip it up underneath there, and then there's another 20 that can get it about halfway. But I'm just throwing numbers out there, but there's only 10 or 15% that can skip it way, way, way back in there. So just
I was gonna say
matter of odds, those fish don't see. They see 10% or 90% less baits than the other fish that are out further.
You said 10 or 15%. It's almost probably more like 10 or 15 people.
Yeah, there you go. That's more accurate. Yep. It's hard.
Like Mike,
there's a 1% difference makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Like Mike said, skipping ain't just around docks. I mean, when me and him were fishing together a few months ago, those fish would start moving before that jig ever settled on the water. They would feel
swirling on it.
Yeah. So
trying to catch it.
Yeah.
That's what Dion will say.
I was just saying that.
They see it in the air, dude. I've seen them see it in the air. It's crazy.
Same here. I remember that. I had that realization years ago on Cedar Lake. I was skipping a tube, and I was just practicing skipping. Coming around this side of this point, and I'm way out off the bank. I'm not skipping at anything really. I'm just practicing the actual skipping motion, and my tube skipped, and in the air, a fish came up on the way down and grabbed it. Just out. I'm talking like out.
Like, oh my gosh!
So he definitely saw it go up.
Oh, absolutely!
And he was waiting on it, and he crushed it.
I have two memories that stick out to me with that. The first one was just like kind of what Jason was talking about, fishing water willow, and I call this was in my dumbass days. I didn't have the slightest clue what I was doing, and like first boat type thing, so maybe second boat, and I pitched this jig. Way up the river, like around the Pearson Bend, somewhere up there, and pitched this jig into some good water willow. And I swear, dude, before that jig hit the water, I watched this 4-pounder come out the second that jig hit the water in its mouth back in the water willow before you could even blink. Wow. I was like, oh my gosh, that fish saw that flying the whole way in the air and caught it. Swam to it and caught it. And the other one was like, sending a jig Mach 10 back behind a dock and like skips the first time, and you see the fish turn and start chasing it as it's skipping, like scoosh, 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 like blowing up on it multiple times as the bait is still skipping on the top of the water. It's like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Those are the two things that stick out to me.
See, that would be my luck. I'd have that perfect skip, and he'd hit it on the skip and just bird's nest.
Yeah,
I'm sitting there digging one out, trying to.
Gosh, dang it! I know he's on there. Yeah,
I'll be with you in a minute. Hang on.
Yeah. Well, I fell in trying to get one out in the Toyota. I had hung up.
Really?
I had to pitched a jig, one of these prototypes actually, into a lift that was down, and in that tournament, those shallow docks with the lift down was like basically batting 100. Shohei Ohtani, like pitch in there, you're gonna get a bite, and pitched in there, pulled down, set the hook, felt decent, couldn't get it out, drove up in there, and I bet I messed with this fish for 5 minutes. I'm hanging off the boat trying to get it. I had no idea how big it was. I didn't think it was huge, but thought it was nice. Fell over my head. I can't see it. What's the score?
6-1 Blue Jays.
All right. Hey. Yeah, toppled over my head onto a lift in the water in the Toyota trying to get one loose. That was a good experience. That's all right. It didn't help.
It's a dangerous game.
You want to learn how to skip? Pick the windiest. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stephanie said, what's the best way to learn how to skip? You kind of touched on it, like you can do it in your house.
Yeah, if you can get it to skip across the carpet, it will definitely skip across the water.
Well, you can skip across a slick garage floor too. Like you get in your garage.
No, that will let you get away with bad habits.
Yeah, but if you're concentrating on it and you set like I've done this before, like set a bar up that's low hanging like a dock, and you make sure it's
slide it under it.
It's not going to go clank. It's going to go.
Yeah, right.
You got to listen for the sound. But yes, I agree with you.
I had a loft apartment years ago, and I had a big coffee table, and I would stand on my coffee table and
elevation.
Elevation. I had a fake tree, like just about a 5-foot tree that is in a pot, and I set it over there in the corner, and then I set a little cup next to it, and I would just pitch. I try to land it, to the right side of the base, to the left side of the base, and then try to get on the back side of it and just try all the different variables.
It's fun, man. It's fun to sit in your house and do that.
But you can stand up on a chair, just to get that.
Dude, I feel like about any diehard that's ever been there, if you know, you know.
Right, exactly.
About everybody stood on a chair and pitched something.
Get some cabin fever, man.
And every once in a while, it gets a little stuck on the carpet, and you have a tendency to jerk.
Oh, yeah. Let's load it up a little bit.
What about power? Less power, more when skipping?
Somewhat. I would definitely say you can't be afraid to send it, first of all.
Right.
And second of all, I feel like a lot of people hurt themselves by over applying their brakes because that makes you overcast, and that in turn hurts you. I think if you're having to put too much force and effort into it, if it's not a natural fluid movement, it's always going to be a fight. Like you have to get it to where your reel is loose enough and your motion is fluid enough that it kind of meets together and is fluid and smooth. Like it has to feel somewhat effortless, but you also need to be sending it in there with some bat speed.
I think for me, this was a bass fishing university with Denny Brower like 20 years ago. But how to set your reel for skipping and just in general casting. And he said, it was different for every bait, but take a 3/8 ounce jig, hit your button, watch it hit the ground, and it has one loop.
Okay.
That's like a really, really good starting point for bait casting and making sure everything's right. Now, one click either way makes a big difference, as we all know. Like one click is, oh God, I'm going to pick this out for the next 5 minutes. And one other click is, crap, I just sent it in the dock and it didn't do anything. Mm-hmm. So making sure that your brakes are set just perfect.
Well, yes, absolutely. And that in combination with like your internal brakes and the centrifugal brakes and stuff is also like super overlooked. Like you have somebody that's not comfortable with a bait caster. I can almost guarantee you it's because their reel is not set up right. Mm-hmm. And, where the middle ground for me, like you guys are thumb bar guys, so you probably have nothing on your guys' insides, I'm guessing. For me,
on that one,
I like half and half.
Yeah,
whatever
I have 2, but maybe 1. I'm not sure.
Whatever the middle ground is on those, like some of them will have 8, some of them will have 4, some of them will have 6 or whatever. I like whatever the middle is. So half on, half off on the spool brakes. And then on the outside brakes, not your spool tension knob, but the actual outside of the reel brakes on your outside, though, the other one. The other side. Put that one. You got one on there? On the outside? Yeah, that one. So that one you can kind of play with as like what your needs are for that.
That's a magnetic brake for
that's your magnets. Yeah. So get that one I mean, I would probably start them both half and half and then set your spool tension knob exactly how Denny said to do it. And then you're going to have a pretty good operating base point.
I would venture to say that there's a lot of people that don't know
to mess with them internal ones.
That don't know that exists.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing. Like, dude, you take a reel like that and turn them all off versus all on, and it is like a night and body. It's a completely different reel.
You take a
dangerous when you turn them all off.
You say, where?
Well, you put a light bait that has no or a 3/8 ounce bait that has no drag, and you're going to send it to the next county,
dude. Yeah, to Mars. Put a trap on that thing and let me know how far.
Yeah, you put a big old spinnerbait on there, and you're throwing into a 20-mile-an-hour headwind. You're just going to fight it all day.
Like those spool speed commercials where they zing the thing and it just runs all the line off of it. That's it. But no, there is a lot to be said for getting that set properly where you're not fighting it the whole time. And like another thing, like that would probably help people that don't have a lot of confidence or experience doing that is one, use as big a diameter line as you can. That's going to like alleviate a lot of your problems with trying to skip. I use mostly 25, like almost all 25-pound fluorocarbon. I'll use 20, but if I'm putting my money on the line on Lake of the Ozarks with all this metal and I'm using this big old heavy hook and a nice stiff rod, I'm using 25. And I'm not risking it. There's a big difference in abrasion resistance from 20 to 25. It's a big diameter difference. The 25 is like weed eater cord, and it just like I can set the hook with it over a piece of metal, and it can pull tight on a 5-pounder, and it's not gonna like scissor cut. You know, like you put 17 or braid over a cable and set the hook. It's like cutting it on a razor. You know what I mean? The 25, that won't, like, I don't know that I've ever had that happen unless it was a bad spot or something. So that it skips better, and also you don't have to worry about ever breaking it off, but that big diameter helps you skip, and also use as fast a reel as you can and try not to put very much line on it. Like, don't put more than like a cast and a half of line on the reel. And that will also help you not get frustrated when you're backlashing it. Like you can pick it out and move on, and you're not like, if you fill the spool all the way full, that benefits you with speed. But if you're going to be overrunning it all day and getting mad, then it's not worth fighting it. Like I don't fill my reels all the way full when I'm skipping docks. There's no reason to do that. Now I may like fill it full with backing and tape it off if I'm really concerned about getting some speed on it. But I rarely do that. I most of the time just use a fast reel and crank it on there and go.
See, I'm don't put too much on it. I'm a 200 reel guy, 200 size.
Me too.
And I'm a braid backing guy. So all of my old braid goes on to all of my bait casters. That way I have heavy backing so I get more speed out of it when I'm That's my theory on it, at least. Maybe the wrong theory, but
no, it's weight. I guarantee it's got to spin faster, I would think.
Yeah.
That's you look at the shallow reel guys, the whatever you call them. I don't even
the skipping reels.
The skipping reels. That's essentially what you're setting up is a skipping reel, a heavy spool with not much back there. But I mean, I would say it'd be smart if you're running anything 12, 15, 20, you should be putting backing on it anyway if you're running fluorocarbon. I don't know anybody that's burning a 200 spool out of 20 pounds.
Not me.
I'm not.
No, me either. I
can't set the hook that far.
No, I just got one of those skip and pitching reels, one of the loos that you're talking about with the shallow spool, and I'm trying to. It's
almost too shallow though, isn't it?
Well, I think it's actually a good cast. I mean,
does it work good?
Yeah, I was worried about it. I was concerned about it, but
I haven't tried it. I haven't tried it.
It's a really like strong filling reel. You know, it's like it just seems like it's stout, and I'm still kind of getting used to it. I fished with it a little bit today, but yeah, you can cast as far as you ever need. And the nice thing is you can just pull that. I think it holds like 40 yards maybe of 20-pound test, maybe a little bit, somewhere around that frame. But you can just pull it all off, because that's typically what I'm putting back on is like 60 yards, something like that. You know, I do the same thing you're talking about, JB. I leave all the backing on there and I just pull like whatever off, tie on, and just pull up another fresh 60 to 70 yards or something, which, you know, we're not casting that far. You know, most of us are casting 100 to 120 feet. So you know,
it's really interesting to know how people do their tackle. There's just so many different ways to approach it. Like there's no wrong or right way, but there is like more efficient ways to do everything. You know,
cost savings, right? Like I don't have the luxury of having a line sponsor that just sends me 30,000 yards of line that I can re-spool every time. So I'm not and time. Like I don't want to strip off all of that line and put all of that line back on there. I'd rather strip off 60, 70 yards of line and then run it back on there, or 20 yards of line, depending on what rod you're using. Like no different than running braid to a fluorocarbon leader. Nobody's hardly running straight fluorocarbon anymore, are they? On a spinning rod?
No, I don't think so.
Randy Blockett is.
What's that?
Randy Blockett is.
Well, okay. No comment.
Okay. And you're wrong if you're not.
I know.
You're wrong.
Putting it out there, man. I'm just putting it out there. No, man, that braid on a spinning reel is the deal. I mean, if you guys are watching, you're not doing that. You don't get the line twist like
you don't chew Big Red, then well, never mind.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So
Curtis said 40 yards of 20-pound. I guess is that skipping pitching reel.
I mean, you're not gonna bomb a.
Not 120. It needs to be more than a cast. Is all it really needs to be.
Yeah.
Cast and a half.
Yeah.
Which is about what that is. So.
Yeah.
That's not what you want to put on for your backing. Like that's where I try to gauge mine at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Let's draw the Bayworks gift card. Let's see. Let me pull this sucker up. And then I got one more question to ask you guys before we shut her down.
I do have one other thing I want to mention as well before we jump off.
Let's share this. All right. This is for a $25 Baitworks gift card. Hashtag capital W, capital R, capital X. If you want to get involved, hit that in there. Get it in the comment section. We'll let it run for a little bit and then we'll give it away. Yeah, so you talked about fishing the Toyota series, Michael, and then there's been some changes, some rule changes, like it seems like there is every year with Major League Fishing. They implemented in the 2026 season, they're going to be doing, you know, the live scope is 3 hours. Live scope and 360 is only going to be available for 3 hours. You know, it's been a lot of people have been talking about it. I just kind of wanted to get your guys' opinion on it. What do you think about that, Michael?
I mean, I personally don't like it. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind not fishing with scope. I learned how to fish without it. I think that's one of the things that'll it may even benefit me not having it all the time, because I feel like there's this like niche little slot of generation of fishermen that kind of started getting really good or like started getting on the cutting edge before they had it, and then it came out and then they grew with it from there, and like just have a little bit of the best of both worlds. And it's only probably like a 5 to 10 year age maybe range of guys that are basically between 30 and 40 right now, or like 26 and 30 in their upper 30s, somewhere in there. So I feel like it may benefit me, but I don't know. I like using it. I like understanding what's going on down there, and it's just I think it's a little bit misunderstood for the most part. Now I can kind of see it on the TVA if they're like floating everywhere all the time and you're just throwing at floaters, but I feel like most of the time those guys are still catching them off structure, and it's not going out and throwing a minnow at one single balloon sitting out there like shooting fish in a barrel like a lot of people think it is. I think it's a little misunderstood, and the way that I use it is incorporating it into all the ways that I fished before. You know, I'm watching fish come up and hit a plopper or a choppa with it in 2.5 foot of water. Like in that Toyota Series event this in September, I'm catching them scoping a dock that I can see these fish in 2.5 foot and watching them swim down and eat my jig in like, 2 to 2.5 foot of water. Like just all the ways that I've always fished before. I'm just using it in those fashions. It's not like we're going out there and doing something crazy that feels like it shouldn't be legal. I'm just using it to my advantage to analyze what I'm seeing in front of me, and just I don't know, covering more water. It's just more efficient. I don't think it's quite the devil that everybody cracks it up to be. But at the end of the day, probably going to show up. Like we got a Toyota here at Ozarks in March. I feel like I have a better advantage with the limited scope than I did having scope the whole time, because I feel like I know what those fish do with or without it. I feel like I might be able to catch them. So, obviously you never know what that week will be like. I can't predict the future, but just, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence with it. You know what I mean? I don't.
You think you'd go out and not like fish, for 4 or 5 hours without it? Just to
Dude,
see.
I would be like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
That's what I feel like I would be thinking. Like, what are we doing?
It's weird, man.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Like, I'm not going out there and throwing my minute. Like, that might be the case sometimes, but it's just not. It's not what people think it is. I really don't think so. And even longtime veteran pros, I still feel like they are misunderstanding. If they would just come to grips with they just need to fish the way they used to and just incorporate it into that world, they would be a hell of a lot better with it than they are trying to adapt and go throw a minnow that the flat billers are doing. Like that's their way of doing it. You don't have to do it that way. Just do it the way that fits you.
Do you think the boat numbers are going to be down next year? Because I've heard some people complaining about it.
I'm not excited to go jump in that. Like, what? Like, I'm not. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I'm probably still gonna just cause, but I feel like you're gonna lose a lot. Like, especially like, it messes with me the fact knowing that all these people, the fish are not they're not going to decide they don't know what it is anymore. Like you still have to put it right in front of them and hold your mouth just right and maybe get one out of 20 to bite. What are we going to do when we can't see them? Like I just feel like it's going to be hard. It's not like everybody else isn't still using it. That's what I feel. The fish are harder to catch. The weights are up. The fish are harder to catch. I don't feel like there's any doubt about that.
Yeah.
Like it's because people are covering water and they're more efficient and they're like putting it in front of mature fish. That's why the weights are up, but it's way harder. Dude, you can't tell me before scope those fish weren't swimming 35 feet to eat a jerkbait in an A-rig. Like they were swimming. If you got within 20 foot of a brush pile, they were going over there and eating it.
Right.
That is like I feel like that's not ever coming back again unless everybody doesn't have it.
Yeah.
So when you have a local community or a chamber or something paying a lot of money for a place with live coverage to come showcase your lake, and then they're out there and they have 11.5 pounds, the dude in 4th place, it's not a good look. At least when they're going out there with scope, they can showcase the lake and what it has to offer. That's what they're coming there for. At least, that's why the places are paying for them, to bring the business and to showcase the lake and hope more people come. And it just worries me. And it's all unknown. We don't know what's going to happen, but maybe that might not be the case at all. But I can tell you one thing's for sure. It's definitely not as easy now as it was before live scope.
No, I agree 100%. The fish have been super educated because of it. And like you said, the recreational fishermen are still going to be using it, where the tournament, participants are only going to be using it for a short period of time. So the fish are smarter, they're wiser, and you have to be more accurate with your cast. It's going to be interesting. And like you said, we won't really know until 2026 unfolds. I mean, the biggest benefit, I think, or so they say, is, for the co-angler. But I don't know if there's going to be an influx of co-anglers to offset the amount of boaters that don't show up.
Hold on, you mean the part-time marshal?
That's another thing I'm not really excited about. That just puts a burden on the I don't know.
So how does that work? Is it just like a police yourself deal? You got to be kidding me.
Nope, it's a police yourself deal. Yeah, I saw Boyd.
What are we doing?
Boyd's done a couple interviews talking about that. He's his take.
We're gonna have some knockdown dragouts in the boat.
I know, man. There's going to be a lot of gray. I mean, I
started at 8:05, not 8:10 or 8:10. Like that conversation is going to happen,
dude. I mean, oh my God.
Yeah. Well, they're supposed to be developing technology that's going to be like a lockbox type of deal that when you close the lock, it's got a timer on it. And then you have to open it back up in 3 hours to shut off the timer, or vice versa. But as of now, as of 2026, it's going to be.
I mean, let's cross that bridge when we get there, boys. Like maybe we do that when that's out there, and we can do that.
Yeah, let's get the technology before we make the changes. To
like, no offense, but I mean, a lot of the co-angling is meant to get people into the sport. Can you imagine, Gabe, the first time you show up to a tournament as a co-angler and you hop in the boat with freaking like Dennis Beerhorst or somebody like that, and you got to tell him to turn his live scope off?
Right. Or if he goes a couple minutes over and you
got to report him. I mean, could you imagine?
No.
Well, because you're both in the wrong at that point. If you don't report him, you're in the wrong.
But I just can't imagine having that burden and having to shoulder that. If that was me, like, I'm a super non-controversial person. Like, I don't ever want to like get in an argument or anything with anybody. Like, that's just not the way I roll. I can't imagine like I would have so much stress and anxiety about that, even if it was completely unnecessary. But if it was my first tournament and I didn't like just the process of like showing up and like getting in the boat and not being unexperienced with all that, and then somebody telling you that you're responsible to make sure all this stuff happens, would be like a major turnoff for me, I feel like.
Yeah, I know.
I think live scope is a major turnoff for a lot of co-anglers.
That is also very fair.
Like, now, not saying that Michael or Gabe or Jason, like, you guys are nose down in it all day long and hanging the co-angler out to dry, but that crap happens every tournament. Like, every BFL, there's a good percentage of guys that I'm sure that are stuck out in 80 foot of water with their thumbs.
It depends on the division, though. It really depends on the
legs.
I fished with Jake Lawrence one time, and I fished with Levi Cole, and they were moving really fast, especially Jake. Jake, I think we hit like probably 50 or 60 pieces of cover in that day. We were moving really, really fast. He was really hard to fish behind, and Levi was hard to fish behind. But most guys that I've fished behind that have live scope, it wasn't really that much different than if they didn't have it. They're looking at brush piles, they're looking at docks, and I've been fronting it a bunch of times back in the day and not even known it. We're sitting out on a ledge and my boater's fishing a single stump. He's got a waypoint and there's nothing around me to cast at. Like, it's just the kind of like the front part of a point that's coming out, or a bar, and there's a single brush pile or a stump, and he's just nosed up to it and he's casting at it. It's the same thing as if he was looking at it with forward facing sonar, but I just didn't know that that's what he was doing. I'm out here casting at nowhere. And then we've said this before, but the worst guy you can fish behind out of the back of the boat is a guy that's running down the bank, throwing like a square bill or a chatterbait, like 10 feet off the bank. That's a pretty tough one. Or fishing a bluff wall where he's, his chopo's smacking the side of the bluff wall. That's a pretty rough day. That's a long day. So there are worse situations than being behind somebody that's scoping.
I was thinking about that as you're saying. Like, I fished behind Drew Boggs flipping one day on Kentucky Lake.
Yeah, there you go.
You're like, good Lord.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck. I can probably take you to the spot. He's like, hey man, you get the next two brush piles. There hasn't been a fish on the next two brush piles in 30 years. I promise.
That ain't gonna work. And like the places, like he said, Dale Hollow, and those places where they're floating out there, like Table Rock, dude, you're shafted. Like you're screwed.
Sure.
But I would also caveat this, or like say like in the circumstance like here, or a lot of places where when your guy's scoping, how often are you within reach of the bank and are afforded a lot of opportunities that you would have never in a million years got if live scope didn't exist? Because most of my live scoping is done where you can hit the bank with a jig or whatever, and I'm probably not doing that. So I mean, you are given a lot of opportunity in that aspect, and like you said, it goes division by division. Like you go fish those other divisions where you're a lot of open water stuff, and that's just really, I mean, that's tough. It's tough. It is what it is.
And you got virgin water too, Mike. Like,
yeah,
it's not when you're behind you and you're fishing.
Like I'm fishing one thing, and you have 280 degrees of stuff to fish.
Of virgin water, not stuff that you haven't already raped and pillaged it.
Yes,
it's right there for the taking. Now you may not be able to see that there's a brush pile submerged out there in 7 foot of water, but if you're locked in on something and I'm throwing a half-ounce jig, like I'm running that half-ounce jig, and if I hit a piece of structure, like I'm gonna milk that piece of structure.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
then my other thing I would say with that it can be argued to death, and it also can be a division by division thing, but you find this all across the country. Is I can name you right now, I won't, but 5 to 10 co-anglers that are absolute problems, just constantly in the top 5, constantly, winning tournaments, winning AOIs, winning regionals, and it's like, well, what, they're dealt the same cards you are. They're just looking at it from a different perspective. Yep. That's all it is. They have a tactical approach to it, and they don't care who they're with or what they're doing. They're just going to find a way to catch the fish that they're in front of, and there somewhere, and there is an answer.
How many guys back in the day would just dread when Brian New got in the back of their boat?
Yeah, or guys like that. They're just going to absolutely work you over from the back. Like, there's dudes and there's guys that fish tournaments around here all the time. Like, there may be great dudes, but you draw their name and you're like, oh, gosh, dang, I better be on my P's and Q's today. Like, you don't want to get your butt handed to you from the back of the boat. That's like the last thing that you want. Like, I want you to catch fish as long as I'm catching fish, but don't kick my ass.
Yeah, I will throw you in the water.
Yeah,
I will bump one off with a net. You're not beyond that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's true. What Brian was saying. The only time live scope was a factor at Table Rock, and those are Del Hollow, Table Rock.
Yeah, and that's tough, man. Regardless of scope, your co-angler numbers are probably going to be down there at those types of lakes. It just is what it is. That's just, I don't think your numbers are going to jump. They might spike the first year, but then everybody's going to go out there and still not catch shit. So they're like, all right, well, I guess I don't want to do this anymore. Still,
yeah. The only difference is your boater's not going to be.
Now they're blind too.
Blind casting too. Exactly.
Yeah,
right.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Unless it's a bank bite, but.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'll be okay, but that's just not my favorite deal. I just wish we could just use it, because the more we use it, the more people are going to realize it's not just chasing a fish down most of the time. That happens, but I'd say at least 80% of the time, it's more catching them the way we would have before, just more efficiently.
Yeah, I say that we talk about the folks trying to get in it to learn it. There's not a lot of younger guys that are going to be co-anglers anymore.
No, they're just jumping to the front.
Jumping straight to the front of the boat.
It's either team where they're both scoping or they're fishing from the front.
Yep.
I didn't fish. I never fished from the back of the boat in my life.
Right.
Never. And so that's how all the studs are coming through high school and college, and they're groomed by the time they come out. I just think that everybody's getting more efficient and better, and it's getting harder. That's just what it is.
It's just changing. Things are changing.
And information is so much more accessible now than it was 5 years ago.
It's a lot more level playing field than it ever has been, man. We can all see the same thing as each other. The local knowledge and the secrets don't go as far, but what's more talent, having a secret that nobody knows about, or having the same tool that everybody has and doing it better than everybody else?
Exactly.
You know,
it travels better.
so I don't know if that doesn't resonate with me really. Like if everybody's given the same tools and you're getting beat with it, why is that a problem? Like, you're mad because you don't have a secret anymore? Like, this is we're talking about professional sports and professional industry. Like, what with something getting more competitive and more, cutthroat and harder to do, in what world is that a bad thing? Like, the more elite are just gonna rise, the cream rises to the top. Like, now you just want to allow more local secret and insider trading, basically, with information and who knows what. Like, I feel like the info, like, everybody's cracking down on the information at the wrong time, man. That information don't really help that much anymore. Everybody's got the same stuff. Like, yeah, maybe they can point you out a spot or a dot to go to, but, Tucker Smith's going to pull up right behind you and see them. Like, with scope, you can see them, so it's a level playing field. I don't understand what the hoopla is about having a level playing field. I get it that it sucks for the co-anglers, but I feel like those dozen instances, or a year, it just is what it is.
I think the information thing, that's depending on what level you're talking about, I think that can be an issue, especially.
Well, I don't think like anybody should be able to go get dots. Right. I just mean, like, if there's no scope and you get dots, that's a lot bigger advantage than getting dots and having scope. Is all absolutely. I was trying to say.
Absolutely.
So I just feel like it might be more sought after with no scope. It's like, oh, I need to put competitive advantage somehow. I could just see it going that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but here's another thing. Like, it's all about time on the water. Like good quality time on the water. A lot of the guys that are excelling right now have put in the time on the water. But for those that are complaining about the people that are dominating with the technology, and they could say, well, I don't have the time. I'm a working guy. I only get to fish, 1 day a week. LiveScope's a huge advantage for that.
Mm-hmm.
The person that doesn't have the time on the water, you can learn so much in a short amount of time if you know how to use it. I mean, you can almost learn in 1 day what it would take you like 5 or 6 days without it,
or 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can just if you're, and it all comes down to being disciplined too.
Right. And interpreting what you're seeing. You still have to be able to compute what you're seeing.
Right. And putting the game plan together and running that game plan, not getting sidetracked. I think that's one of the biggest differences in people that really excel in tournament fishing, no matter what level, is being disciplined and running a true pattern and not getting sidetracked. And I mean, I'm really guilty of it. We've talked about it before on here. You start.
That's a gamble.
You're flipping docks. That's your deal. Okay. Well, all of a sudden you start fishing a couple laydowns that are in between docks, and then next thing you know, you kind of cheat out to a point, and you're fishing out deep on the dock. You get sidetracked. So instead of staying ultra focused and doing what the pattern is, a lot of times people will just kind of start going down the bank, getting away from the juice spot, and that's 20 minutes you wasted here, 20 minutes you wasted there. Where the best fishermen are ultra disciplined and ultra focused, and all of their effort is going into making the right casts in the right places.
I mean, you could go down that breadcrumb trail for miles and miles, because then you get that one right clue that you're like, oh, I don't know about that one thing happening. You're like, maybe I should do this, and then you're like, oh, bam, 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 bam. So it's like,
that's true.
So it's a fine line we walk. It's a gamble. Like, sticking to your guns can reward you sometimes, and then sometimes it's like, I don't know. I make the right adjustment.
Circle. And you may not have realized that's grass fishing 101. Like, it could take that one bite could take you down a rabbit hole for 5 hours and you not get another damn bite. But it could be the one key that led you to a 25
I'll give you the perfect example of this. In that Toyota in September, I had probably the most epic jig skipping, shallow fishing day that I've ever had in my entire life. And you can ask my co-angler. I literally caught like 70 plus fish on a half-ounce jig and like 35 keepers. Like an absolute demolition of catching them shallow on a jig on boat docks. The second day, I went and caught 13.5 pounds doing that. They were not cooperating at all. And I pulled up to a deep summertime point that nobody had probably fished in 2 weeks and caught two that were almost 4 pounds on back-to-back casts in the last 10 minutes of the day and ran into the weigh-in with 16.5 pounds when I pulled up there with 20 minutes left with 13. And then the next day, I ran that deep stuff the whole entire day, had another 13 pounds, 10 minutes left. So basically, day 2, I made a key adjustment, caught 16 pounds. Day 3, I stuck with my guns all day long, and it sucked all the way to the last 10 minutes. And then I caught like 6 fish that helped, cold twice, and got up to almost 14-something pounds and finished second place. I almost won the tournament. So one day was an adjustment. Well, day 1 was execution. Day 2 was an adjustment at the end of the day that saved me. And day 3 was bullheadedness that saved me. So it's like, you know, it's just, that was a result of being in tune with the lake and just having, you know, a lot of confidence, you know, on a home local advantage. Being able to do that somewhere else is next to impossible. That's where your Jacob Wheelers and your guys come to light, is when they can pull up on a body of water they've never seen before and be able to make those decisions. That's the elite of the elite.
Yeah.
Well, most of those guys are making those decisions. Well, think about, you make that decision on day 2 with an hour left.
Yeah, what could I have done? Could have caught 20 pounds.
You could have caught 20, and you could have, and then you won the tournament. Like,
right.
Yeah,
that's the rabbit trail of, you know, of miles and miles. It's just the
what
ifs.
Fish are only up there for 30 minutes, and you pulled up in the right 30 minutes.
And then I hit that spot 3 times on day 3, and they never once were set up like that.
Exactly. That happens a lot too.
And it's just like, you know, and then I hit the right 2 points on the third day in the last 20 minutes, and it happens again in the last 20 minutes. I'm not kidding you, dude. In the last 20 minutes of the last 2 days, I caught probably 18 pounds worth of fish.
Wow.
Or more on 5. 20 pounds worth of fish. I don't know, 18 for sure. Crazy. So I don't know. Sometimes you work all day, and then but it wasn't meant for me to win that week. Like, I never felt like I should have, or like, even I always had a chance, but it just, I was not like upset or crushed or devastated that I didn't win. It just, I won the tournament of not being on the winning fish is what I did.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 I know exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, I was not on the winning fish except for day 1.
Mm-hmm.
If they had done that all week, I would have won. It just never didn't happen that way.
Yeah. Sometimes the win's not on how you finish. It's did you execute and fish hard and, you know, do the best.
Like 25th might be a win. It's, you know, at some tournaments. So
I agree. All right, guys, we're coming up on 2.5 hours.
We're on our time. We're on our time cap.
Yeah, man, we covered a lot of ground.
We did
good conversations tonight. Just a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. You said something. You need to speak on something.
Oh yeah, so we took over a resort here at Lake of the Ozarks in the middle of Osage Beach. It's called Sunset Beach Resort. We actually live here now. But the reason I say that is, you know, with the passing of Bass and Bob, we were really concerned about the Winter Bass Challenge. That's something that's always been like near and dear to everybody's heart around Lake of the Ozarks, is the Winter Bass Challenge. Like, it's a coveted deal. You show up, you get breakfast, you come back, you get lunch, you get beer. The best of the best are always there. And, you know, it's a great event. That's always been something that, it's always been my favorite event. It's a, you know, like a five tournament trail that's just been well run, and all of my favorite people always show up. Like, since I was cutting my teeth fishing tournaments here, this was like one of the first things that I was really showing up to and hanging around. And so Jada and I decided, you know, with part of Jack Uxa, obviously buying Bass and Bob, taking over, and then Bass and Robbie, we're going to run the the Winter Bass Challenge out of the resort here at Backwater. You know, we're right across from Backwater Jack. So We have all the regatta dates right now. It says that they're launch anywhere weigh in at PB2. That should be adjusted soon to say that takeoff and weigh in here at Sunset Beach Resort. But we will be planning on having all the Winter Bass Challenge events. So hopefully anybody and everybody can show up to that. There'll be just a couple tiny small tweaks to it, but basically the same running tournament that everybody's used to as far as that goes. So we're just a couple miles from PB2 by water, and we do have a ramp here. I could probably do 10 to 15 boats in the mornings here. If you're confident, it's kind of a long back, but I use it all the time. But anyway, we'll have more information and post coming out about that. So just kind of put a bug in everybody's ear that we might, or that we are going to be doing that.
That's great, man. I'm glad to see that stuff continuing to be a thing, because when I heard that Jack was buying that was nothing but good news.
The best case, right? I mean, that was the best case scenario.
You don't want to see that go away. I mean, that's a staple in that area. That's one cool thing about there's a lot of cool things about
it's really tight knit.
It is. It's a good group of guys down there in the Lake of the Ozarks. We were talking about being a co-angler. I fished in several different divisions, and I can honestly say that Lake of the Ozarks it's just got a different vibe than the other divisions.
With the community,
there's a lot more interaction from the guys just hanging out in the morning. There's a lot of buddy, and everybody's talking, and it's just it's an actual fishing community. And I'm not down any of the other divisions, but
right?
It's just got
something you notice, and you talk to anybody like an Alan Gray or a Mark McWall or somebody that's been everywhere and done it all, and they are all really quick to recognize that. And I feel like I'm a testament to that, because I didn't have anybody that got me into the sport or introduced me to. I'm not a single person that I know and am friends with. It's just all been because I was welcomed in the community, and I was what I would consider a late bloomer. I didn't know I didn't know any of these guys until I was in my early 20s, and in today's world, that's kind of a late start, and I didn't have that. They just welcomed me into the group, basically. It wasn't who's this guy or earn your stripes or none of that. It was just let me know what I can do to help, and anything like that. So it is a pretty awesome community, and super.
That community doesn't exist everywhere. You go to Kentucky Lake, you go to Southern Illinois and fish those divisions. That doesn't exist.
It's just different. It's just a different vibe. I really respect that. It's something that, like you said, you notice it. You do notice it. Brock's got a comment. Tell me if this is true or not.
On odd number hours, yeah, something like that. And then you can weigh one crappie, one bass, one walleye, and one drum.
Okay.
If you don't have all of the above, you can't weigh at all.
No. No. To be fair though, I think we're going no A-rig again. That from its inception, that was a no A-rig tournament, and then they allowed it last year and did the takeoff anywhere, and it just was not the same. Wasn't the same tournament. It's no knock on the A-rig. I love throwing an A-rig. A lot of people do.
You've won money on an A-rig in the past.
I've won some money on an A-rig, so it's just about, for me, trying to get it as close to its original inception as possible, because that's what was so special to me and everybody else. And, having it here at the resort, we're going to bring back that, going into, the room in the morning, having somewhere warm to sit down. And when it was at Ohana, it had that vibe, and that's what we're going to try to bring back. So super, super excited about that. Hopefully we can, get some people out and enjoying that. So I'm pretty excited about it.
In this crazy world of bass fishing, we need some traditions to just keep them the way that they are, some stability.
And that's kind of where we were going with that. So,
yeah. All right, folks. Thanks for hanging out with us. Next week, we got another guest lineup. I'll do the Facebook and the socials and all that to let you know who's coming on. Michael, Jason, thanks a lot for hanging out with us. The new jig is sick, killer. If you guys are interested in purchasing some, just go to the Crock Gator website, probably the easiest way, and then start looking around your local area, and they'll start showing up here and there. And that's all I got for you. Guys, have a great week. Till next time.